What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lost Cause Productions YouTube channel. Ian Barr, as you know. And with me today is my buddy Red, who has lived quite an extravagant life. And he's wrote a book about it. But we're only going to give you a taste of everything tonight. Because coming up in August, I personally am going to be heading down to Florida to meet up with not only Red, but also Colombo family soldier and hitman Larry Mazza. And then a very special guest of mine who's never actually given his statements of the life he lived on camera before, but you know, after a lot of pretty much just bribing and begging, he's decided to come on. And then to seal the deal, I'm finishing off with none other than Seth Ferranti. For those of you who don't know who that is, he's got an episode on Viceland called "I Was a Teenage Felon." He was an acid kingpin by the time he was 19. He's from out east. I can't really I want to say New York, but I don't want to get it wrong. I don't exactly remember what part of the East Coast he's from, but he's from the East Coast. He ended up doing, I think, somewhere around 21 years. And now he's a journalist for Vice, and he recently put out the White Boy Rick documentary with another good friend of mine, Scott M. Bernstein, the Original Gangster podcast. Big shout out to them. And big shout out to Seth's YouTube channel, Red's YouTube channel. Go and subscribe. You know, so please like and subscribe here. And I mean, yeah, if you love killers, carnage, and cons, man, this is gonna be the channel for you. I'm gonna take it all over the country. It's gonna screw up the cross country chaos tour. I completely just outdid the board in graffiti. It's pretty choppy,
yeah,
though.
You moved it. It looks good.
Yeah. No, yeah. I had to mix it up a little bit, but Red, man, let's give these people a little sneak preview now. For those of you who are just like average crime historians, most of us have seen the movie Casino. Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Sharon Stone, James Woods, that scumbag, and a lot of people don't. I mean, I guess a lot of people know it's based on a true story, but
Why
I do come to find
James Woods a scumbag?
What's up in that movie?
Oh, in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, in pretty much every movie he's in, he's probably a really nice guy.
No, the best movie I ever saw him in was with Brian Dennehy. He played a hitman.
Oh,
Bestseller.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
he was good in that one.
That was he was really good. What is the one I was just thinking of him in? He plays another creep, kind of like Casino, but it's almost worse. He's got a way more like rapey vibe to him. I can't remember. I might be thinking of Jeff Goldblum in Death Wish, though, too. Very possible. Or Malcolm McDowell in A Clockwork Orange, you know. But, yeah, nonetheless, one of Red's very good friends, and I don't know if it was a business associate. I don't know if you guys ever had dealings of business or if that's how you kept your friendship. But was none other than Tony Spilotro, better known to the world, I guess, as Nicky Santorum, due to degradation of character, if you yada, yada, yada. But yeah, the Joe Pesci character that is portrayed in Casino was based on an actual Chicago outfit. Was he a captain or was he just a soldier?
He wasn't made capo, but he had his own territory for so long, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They were bringing him back to Chicago to make him a capo.
Okay. All right. So like an unofficial captain.
That was a Russo.
Okay. All right. So you're from Chicago, right?
Yes, I am.
Right on. What is I mean, like what's your book about? First off, let's plug your book. Let's get that going. Everybody, Red's got the floor.
Nobody Cares, and what I did about it is a book that I wrote that it kind of tells about my life with the outfit. It also tells about my personal life, which kind of makes it different.
Because yeah, it's a really good read. That's what I like, is you get into like how things made you feel instead of just this is what happened, that's what happened, you know.
There's feeling in it.
Yeah, it's not a cut dress, not like a Wise Guy or like Collada's book, and it's not just like a dossier on you, like how the people wrote on people who are gone, you know, like an Anastasia book or something like that. That's not his words. So,
well, like there's one part that I got a laugh out when I wrote it. I was writing it, and it said, and we were off to Family Secrets. Right. Joey,
now you were
Frank Schweitzer,
you were a big contender for that, weren't you? The Family Secrets trial. You were a big part of that, right?
Oh yeah. What tapes during it?
why don't you let everybody, because not everybody's going to know what we're talking. You and me know what we're talking about, just chumming it up like we're old friends. But why don't you let everybody know what the Family Secrets trial was?
Family Secrets trial, what inception really started in 202 when they were investigating it, trying to put it together. It was about 18 unsolved homicides.
Damn.
And it was about the Calabrese family. That's why they called it Family Secrets. But it really knocked down all the major guys. Every one of them went down. You name it, they all went down.
Now, during that, Frank Weiss went down.
Schweiss,
excuse me. The German, as you said, you guys didn't really call him. It is funny how sometimes they dub people these nicknames in the media. They're like, his nickname on the street is such, like, nobody calls him that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, a lot of times he was picked up on wiretaps, other people talking about him, and they called him Hitler.
Was he that mean?
Yeah. He never was to me, but he was lethal to other people.
Right. Exactly. And so, one second. Oh man, I was running around yelling at the iPad. I got my throat hurt. It's an inanimate object. It doesn't care that I'm angry. I got to learn to get over it. Now, it is fun. It is fun to talk to you about Tony Spilotro because I know him from like a historian standpoint and just strictly the black and white, just the sheet, you know, and pictures and different articles I've read on him and different documentaries that have been made on him. He's, I would say he's arguably Chicago's most famous gangster. I mean, not the most successful, not the most, but there are people in Thailand who I could break down who Tony Spilotro was. I'd be like, Casino, Martin Scorsese, Casino. And they'd be like, oh, Casino, yeah. I'd be like, the small guy, Joe Pesci's character. You know, like, I can't describe to somebody from Thailand who Joe Bad is.
Well, that's this period of time. Because once when I was down in Mexico, I was on a tour and I was in the opera house and it's real steep. And there was this young kid, I don't know, he's about maybe 20 or so. And he was taking us around and he asked us, you know, where we were from. And so I said, Chicago. And he says, when you get back to Chicago, say hi to Al for me.
Right. I guess, once I said it, I did think of it. But see, I don't count Al Capone as Chicago. He ran Chicago, but he's from Brooklyn. I place you on a where you're from type of thing when I think, because Tony Spilotro was, you know, born and raised in Chicago, right?
He was born in the Patch, yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's like Al Capone didn't really want to have to go to Chicago. He was made to go. He made the most of it. He loved it. He ended up loving Chicago.
He brought his whole family there.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, once he's seen what it could be, Chicago was a lot nicer in that era for a guy like that because everybody back home, you got 5,000 lies guys chasing the same crooked nickel. And this is before forensic and ballistics are really even a thing. So bullets are just zinging around New York.
It was virgin territory for him.
Yeah. But essentially Luciano, Lansky, and I forget the Rothstein were the ones who told him he kind of needed to get out of Dodge. Al had a temper when he was young, you know, but it is funny that
I believe he murdered somebody there.
Yeah, he did. He killed somebody at the docks or something like that. I believe it was.
He had to leave town.
Yeah, and it's funny because have you ever seen Boardwalk Empires?
Only 1 or 2 episodes. I really didn't like it.
Oh man, it is a rough watch. But the kid who plays, or not the kid, he's like my age, but like the kid essentially in this who plays young Al, and then the guy who plays young Lucky Luciano, I think did a very good job. And then Adrian Brody down the road ends up portraying a young Carlo Gambino. I thought that was well done because like the nose is perfect, you know, like, so they did a good job though. But I do feel you on the whole, they really stretched the Nucky Thompson story. But I mean, Goodfellas is my favorite movie and they really stretched the Henry Hill story, let me tell you. But really stretched the, you know, like sort of like Collada stretching it. But I will say Collada has more ground to stand on than Henry Hill every day.
I like the old at the very end of Henry Hill, where he turns around and says, now here I am out in the desert and order a pizza. And what do I get?
Egg noodles and ketchup. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. And now it's all over. Just bummed out. Like, that's the craziest part of that whole concept is like, he tried to act like
that's what he said. I'm just a schnook out here.
Do you know what movie it is that Martin Scorsese's referring to with Joe Pesci at the end?
No.
It's the Quick and the Dead.
I didn't see it.
It's a cutscene. It's an old western. There's a cutscene where like the gunslinger in the movie. You really shouldn't eat when you're doing these things, everybody. But oh well. My mouth's dry. I need something to water it up. There's a scene in the movie where like they sort of do like the double back to a character that's been killed off, and it's him firing his 6-shooter. But I mean, he's in like a cowboy getup. But like that's what the end of Goodfellas is. I mean, for anybody who didn't know, not just you, but it's Scorsese loves paying homage to movies, just like Quentin Tarantino loves feet as much as I do. That's why there will always be bare feet touching people all over in Quentin Tarantino movies, like shots of feet and stuff. Like, but yeah, Martin Scorsese, he did that to pay homage to, I forget who it was that played in The Quick and the Dead. But yeah, nonetheless, little side note there. It's a fun little thing because I always wondered for so long, like, what the hell are they trying? Like, what is that end about? Like, he thinks back on it, and then Tommy's just firing a gun, and he just kind of smiles, and then Sid Vicious of all people plays, like the Sex Pistols plays to take us out of the movie, you know. But I will forever say, Goodfellas is my favorite movie. I think it's the most well-directed movie I've ever seen. The main shot through where he's introducing you to all the guys, that's a lot of work. That's a insane amount of work. So like everybody's got to.
Did you know that he stole the scene out of the guy they put in the trunk, and he knocked the lights out, and then they opened the trunk, he was still alive? They stole that scene from Frank Collada.
That was real though too. Billy Batts really was still alive.
Okay, well, yeah, but when he put that scene in the movie, it was something that Collada had told Scorsese about.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that. But Billy Batts was actually still alive when they were taking him up to Pennsylvania. They had to dig him back up. God, that would suck.
And several other people too.
Yeah, no, that would really, like, that's a gangster right there. Jimmy, it's been 6 months. I don't care how long it's been. We got to get it out of there. Like, you know,
Ray Liotta was on the corner puking.
They actually credit him with the best portrayal of the real life gangster to the movie gangster because of the laugh. And he does kind of play timid the whole time. You know, he beats the shit out of the one guy who tries to rape his wife, his soon-to-be wife, and he might rough up somebody here and there, but like they get to the zoo and he's all like, "Well, throw him over to the lion." Lions? I'm not going near any lions, Jimmy. Just like all like, and I do actually picture.
They must eat lions down in Tampa.
Yeah, no, they mean business.
Lions must eat.
Seriously, they must really feed each other to the lions down there. Yeah, but then like, cause it's funny that Scorsese talks about his mob movie sort of mecca before he made The Irishman, which there will be a whole rant video to go about. I'm a bitch about that probably a lot in my life. Disrespectful to Detroit, I'm gonna say it again. I forgot you guys aren't gonna see the first one. Me and Red have done this twice now, just so everybody knows. So I appreciate you, Red, because I'm an idiot and I can't use Zoom.
You're not an idiot. You're just
not.
No,
I know.
What is it? First try? First try?
Yeah. No, we did it with the phone before. I'm guessing the same thing happened because I always got Apple products. So there's something about like I have to get the premium version for all of it to unlock. Like Apple just does you dirty. So anybody out there listening, you're not sure what to get an Android.
That's why I got rid of my Apple and went to Android.
See, I like Apple Music. I like Apple Music. I'm a music head, and Apple Music is the smoothest music downloader there is.
But now you can get anything you can get on Apple, you can put on an Android. If you want to download.
But not the music downloaders, you have to like find a good one. Apple Music's just on the phone, you know? Like I said, music is a lot to me. It means a lot to me. You know, I'm a big music head. So like I gotta like, you know.
I just turned the stereo down when I talk to you. I always have music going on.
I don't have a stereo, Red. We don't have stereos anymore. Oh, Red's old.
It's all through the house, guy. I don't
Red's old, ladies and gentlemen. He told me he was hustling VCRs earlier, and I was like, to who? No. Actually, though, it is funny how certain things aren't going to come back. Like we were talking about earlier, vinyls. Like people in my age group love vinyls as much as like your generation did. Like we would put vinyls above CDs now, probably. Like CDs were our shit. We grew up with it, but then we got the MP3s and the instant downloads, and it's all like, oh man, keep your CDs and forget it. But there's something about a vinyl and the cover and the whole action and the book and the, you know what I mean? It's like an adventure, really. You know,
do you know that I must have maybe 8,000 or 9,000 vinyl albums?
I bet. Oh, I bet.
And right over here, I could step over and get them for you and show them to you.
Yeah, grab one or
All the
two.
records from my jukeboxes.
Nice.
All the
All from back in the day.
45s, all the
Yeah.
and I look back in there through the 70s and 80s, and I look at it and say, what am I going to do with these? Nobody wants them.
Bullshit. Depending on what they are. If you got like all I know is that's in me, you look like you're lots of fun. Like that, like those type of one-hit wonders that are dead or gone now, or like, and you got like original vinyl, it's worth some money, man.
Oh, I got some originals. I have an original. I got a lot of originals in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say originals are worth a lot because they're still not making them the same way they used to.
But that was the disco era. You know, that was the disco era.
Yeah, but like if you got what's the album? There's one album where like there's a bunch of them made. You'd have to look at your
ones, like Pink Floyd. Stuff like that.
Yeah, but like I mean, like I don't know what to call it because today we call them mixtapes because it's like you put out your EPs, your LPs, but sometimes you put out a mixtape, which is like one or two songs. So back then, like they would still do that on vinyls, like the little singles and stuff, and like some of those songs, like NIB by Black Sabbath, that's actually that was a relatively hard song to find on like album wise because it's not on Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, it's not on yeah, you know, like because even new age records, even like Nirvana Nevermind, like Nirvana Nevermind on vinyl right now, $39.99 easily. I'm gonna need to get me a tech eventually so I could be like, you know, can you Google that to make sure like I'm, you know, but I would say, yeah, like most definitely because I got a friend, me and her, we listen to a lot of vinyls because like, I don't know, I love the crackliness. I love that you get to pick up on the imperfections, man. Like I like imperfections. Things like I can appreciate when something's done and done so neatly that I'm like, damn, that was beautiful. Like Martin Scorsese's work. But then I can appreciate a Quentin Tarantino's where I find a flaw in Tarantino's movie every time. I can tell you one in Pulp Fiction right now.
I can tell you there's plenty of flaws in one particular one that I liked, and that was Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The biggest one for me is in the beginning, she says, any of you fucking pigs move and I'll execute every last one of you motherfuckers. Right. And then at the end, it's flip-flop. But the movie's not shot one day. Also, did you know that diner in Pulp Fiction isn't a real diner?
No,
it's just used. But it's a building built to be used by Hollywood as a diner. That seems asinine. Like, why don't you just have it as a diner? Like, so you're telling me it's always set up, ready to go. Like, I could go in and eat there, but I can't. Like, God, Hollywood's I don't understand it. Shouts out to Ryan Leone, my dude out there out west, and Casey McBride too, Brett Giuliano. But actually, Brett's in Chicago. So, hey, Chicago, how you doing? Red Wings, though. For real. I switched the shirt up for this one.
I noticed. I didn't want to say anything.
Well, I mean, I was running frantic, man. I was starting to sweat up in that thing. And like, that's a nice zip up. So that's for later, you know, like she gets the nice clothes. You guys get, Red Wings, you know, Red Wings and Tigers, but I don't wear my hat for it. Keeping it Michigan, keeping it classy. What y'all know about Devil's Night. But do you guys have Devil's Night in Chicago?
Pardon?
Do you guys have Devil's Night in Chicago?
Double what?
Devil's Night, the night before Halloween, where people just
that's a Detroit thing.
That's a Detroit thing, baby. Yeah, that's a Detroit thing.
Ever since I was a kid, they used to talk about burning the night before.
Yeah, it gets wild. It gets wild. I mean, that's what happens when you're a teen.
That goes back to like 1959.
Yeah, no. I love that it's only made it to Toledo too. Like Toledo's had it once or twice, but it's never made it any further. Everybody's like, what the hell is wrong with Michigan? Like, it was weird when going to Colorado and coming back to Michigan. I'm like, man, people in the Midwest, out east, they're just angrier. Like Colorado, I'd be like, hey, man, they're like, oh, sorry, man. No, I don't. You know, it's like, dude, if I ask that back home, what the fuck are you doing? No, I don't. Like, get away from me. Like, ask somebody in Detroit, like, because I pulled up to these parking meters that were like super electronic in Denver. I was like, I don't know how to use one of these. And I asked the guy, and I was like, he's like, oh, no, bro, I get around on my Chevrolet legs. Like, I was like, if I ever ask somebody for help back in Michigan, like, hey, you know how to use a parking meter? They'd be like, what are you, dumb? Like, just walk away from me after that. Like, they just give you a snub look. And, you know, like New York, they wouldn't even acknowledge you. You'd be like, excuse me. They'd be like, fuck off. Like, you know. Speaking of New York, shouts out Paulie G.
Ticket from the other guy's car and put it on your car.
For real. They'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll help you. They jaw jack you, take your wallet. Welcome to New York. Oh, man. I can't wait to go out there, though. I've never been. I've been to Chicago. I have been to Chicago. I gallivanted around Chicago. It was pretty cool. I liked it. Your guys' roads suck just as much as ours, though.
Pardon?
I mean, their roads out there suck just as much as ours, though. I couldn't believe it.
Illinois has been bad since I don't know how long.
That and the
That's why
tolls.
I love it where I live down here. They redo the streets every year.
Oh, yeah.
Once a year, they redo them. They cut off one lane. They do them at night, like right now.
Yeah.
They're doing one lane, and then tomorrow they'll do the other lane.
Yeah. Do they use salt in Chicago to like for the ice and stuff? Like, do they use
salt? They use salt.
Yeah, because like New York uses sand.
The cars, it ruins the cars.
Yeah, it's the worst possible thing. It really is the worst thing you can use. I'm gonna move
Better
this.
undercoating underneath your car.
Yeah, no kidding. But nonetheless, we're going down the rabbit hole a little bit, which is fine. But your book, nobody cares on what I did about it. What inspired you to write it, and then give us a little insight of what it's about. Don't give away too much, because like I said, you are the first episode that we're launching from his boat, ladies and gentlemen, going saltwater fishing, hopefully catching a shark.
You want a shark? Sharks taste good, man.
Do they?
Oh, I love sharks.
I just want one just to have it. I was gonna keep it as a pet, really. Put them in the back, have like a tank, get a small one.
A small one.
I'm that type of one.
The smallest one I've ever seen out there is 14, 15 feet.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna need a bigger house, Red. Vice Channel, pick me up. What's good? It's just self-promotion the whole time. Don't need nobody to promote me. I'll do it myself, or I'll ruin it.
Ian's like and subscribe on this one.
Like and subscribe, please. And like and subscribe on Red. Larry Mazza, I actually don't know if he has a YouTube, but check him out on Vlad. Big shout out to Vlad. And then Seth Ronti. And that's but your book. It goes pretty deep, man. It's not just like this happened on this date. This happened on this date. Like you genuinely take us through like your life, your life story.
I actually live it when I think about it, like now.
Yeah.
I actually live it in my mind. And when I was writing it, I was just recanting stories, different things that happened. And
ever make you shiver how close to death you've been?
Pardon?
Ever make you shiver how close to death you've been?
No.
Like when you think about it?
No.
No? Yeah, I guess I don't really either. So.
I was never really that close to death, and I really didn't have any fear. I was cautious, though. I was cautious around certain people. I knew they were lethal.
Well, I mean, I would say if how do you pronounce it? Weiss?
Frankie.
Frankie, yeah. If him and then like Lombardo and all, like if you were having a brush, I know you and Tony were super tight, but from the sounds of how you and these other guys were, it was strictly business. It wasn't really it's friendship. Like, yeah, we're friends, but like we're friends. You know what I mean? Like, whereas like you and Tony seem like
I want you, friend, because I'm giving you money.
Exactly. So in your book, you do touch on both sides of the law, really. You touch on a lot of people from like the federal government, the feds, as well as individuals like Spilatro, Lombardo. Who do you think this is a fun one? Who do you think wields their power more?
When? What era?
I mean, no, like between the feds versus the bad guys. Like, I'm not saying who is more powerful in the country. I'm saying who flaunts their like power, like because like when I think of like when the feds want to come in and shut something down, if you really go and piss off the federal government, it's on, But also you really go piss off some wise guys in the right era, it's also on. So I was just wondering, like, who do you think? Because like sometimes it seems like the people who are on the worst side of things do like also have the most, I won't call it humble approach, but like they do weird stuff. You know what I mean?
They have
like,
a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
The government doesn't. They take their time. They could take 2 years, 5 years. They don't care how long it takes.
They don't run out of time and money. Yeah, they don't run out of time and money. That's the best kept organ. But see, I just always feel like they're one and the same because like the lottery, that's the numbers. You know what I mean? Like everything that they were ever like Shylocks. I mean, everything that the mob ever did that they slapped them away for, they were like, that was a really good idea. Yeah, I know we should get in on that. Like, how do you not think to put fences up at an airport too? You know what I mean? Like, it is funny how many things that like mafioso guys like crime causes. Because we're all like, no, people are trustworthy. It's just an airport. We can have goods coming out. Okay. All right. Yeah, you sure can. You sure can. We'll gladly take them. Same with like the docks and I mean just everything really. Do you guys have? I mean, I'm sure you have docks in Chicago. That's a dumb question, but do you guys have like big docks?
Not anymore.
No.
They used to ship things in from Detroit, cars, and everything would come through the St. Lawrence Seaway and come down through Michigan. And there's lots of them there. They got caught in storms. Lake Michigan is probably the worst dangerous lake out of all the Great Lakes.
Superior, 100%.
Oh yeah, wait, well, yeah, but
you're talking about the one surrounding Michigan. Yeah, Michigan takes that, but the one, that Superior, boy, that thing's like an ocean. It's
when they have their storms out there, I've seen swells as high as 12, 15 feet.
And oh yeah, we got rained out a
lot of barges and a lot of cars and a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we got rained out a Lollapalooza. We were at Grant Park, and it was Thursday. It was the first day, opening day. Got to be about 9 o'clock, and it just started pouring, man. 458,000 people flooding into downtown Chicago because they shut it down. It was wild. Shit was wild. But you know who was on point that night? Uber drivers out there getting their money. They just like weaving through traffic. I was like, all right, you guys are definitely from here. Like, and when I first got there, we get an Uber driver and he picks me up and I'm like, oh man. Cause he just looks like he's going to be like a wild ride. And he was, but he was fun. He's like, where you going? I'm from Jersey, but I work out here. And he's just weaving through everywhere. I'm like, oh my God. He's like, how close are you trying to get to the concert? I'm like, as close as you'll get. He took me to the fence. He's like, just like shifting through people. Like, I was like, okay, bro, who's this guy? He was like, no, you said the fence. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like it was. Chicago was definitely a fun city.
Give me 1 second, would you?
Oh yeah, go for it.
1 second, buddy.
We're on your time. Come on.
Hey. Okay. That's what happens when you drop stuff. I'm back.
Just had to check on Adam, fucking make sure he helped me out a bunch. He figured everything. He was trying so hard. He's like, no, we got it. And as soon as I buy it on premium, because I like the way I could edit it on here. Because it is just like when your video plays on your phone and it's just a running stream.
You can take a screen out. You can put a thumbnail in. You can do anything you want.
No, I like your idea of placing in like when we mention somebody, like we'd cut out for a minute and there it'd be, But Google it, you lazy sons of bitches. Google it. It's not that
but
hard.
You could also put a little one in the corner.
Yeah.
If you want a little picture, you can put it in the corner and say, that's the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it'd be cool to have I'm glad. I'm obviously gonna do like Pesci and Spilotro side by side. But because there are a lot of guys to where you can always just Google them and they will pop up, but nobody's gonna try to spell Giancana if they only half care about them out. They're gonna be a Gian what? No, I'm good. Like he sounds like a scumbag. Like, did you ever meet Sam? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
No, I never
did.
I never met any of the real. Well, Sam was gone in '66. I was in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
I went to
I guess he was more of the 40s, but yeah, okay. I thought he died in the 70s for some reason for a second, but no, it was
he died in '75, but he moved to Mexico, falling out with Tony Accardo, and he moved to
he really bit the hand that fed him. He's a crash and burn story.
He was great.
Oh, was he?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
he helped back a lot of money. He helped back a lot of money. And he went to Mexico. And when he was in Mexico, he started something over in Iran.
Oh, really?
Thing over in Iran. And when he came back, when he was forced to come back, he didn't want to settle up with Accardo or anybody else. He didn't want to give me. Right. He said, I did that all on my own. What do I got to give it to you for?
Yeah. He does have my favorite, what are they called? They were the slacking now, man. The trials with Bobby Kennedy, where he's like interviewing like Valachi, Costello, and all them, and they get
that was the hearings, the Senate hearings.
The Senate hearings, thank you. And they get Giancana in there, and Kennedy's really hoping to prey on his quick temper, and like he just keeps like, like just the laugh.
The laugh is so wicked. Kennedy said to him, Robert Kennedy said to him, he said, do you laugh like all little girls, Giancana?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
laughed.
Yep.
He said,
Yep.
I respectfully answer not to answer the question.
Respectfully decline to answer the question because I feel my answer may incriminate myself. Like even him saying the fifth is my favorite version of him saying the fifth. Like Costello's was entertaining though, because like I wonder if he really thought like I pay all my taxes. It's like, Frank, you're a thief. No, you don't. Like no, you don't. Like like because like in his mind he was like, no, I pay my property tax. It's like, okay, cool. All of you guys do. Like you don't actually claim what you earn. And it's funny that we were talking about that earlier. I think Frank Costello would be the first mob made man, period, because he was so early that didn't have to make his bones. I don't even know if he had to dig a hole, really, to be honest about it. And it like what really surprises me because he would sort of like chest up, I'll call it, on Vito Genovese, who's got like 600 bodies. I mean, as far as like the far side goes. But even on the low end, people say like at least 50, like see like him doing it, not even what he ordered. Like Vito Genovese is a savage. He was kind of like Arcano. Like there was no like, maybe not. I'd like him. No, you messed up. You're dead.
You're from Detroit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask your opinion. Now I've looked this up on Google, but I'm going to ask your opinion anyway. What was the toughest gang in Detroit?
The toughest gang? That like mob related or just like gang?
No, toughest mob gang.
The toughest mob gang, Purple Gang.
And they were all Jews.
Oh yeah. No, Scott Bernstein, that was his family. The guy who helped Seth make the White Boy Rick. He does all that. Yep, that's his family. Yeah. No, definitely the Purple Gang. And then I do gotta give it to the faction when Zarelli was running the family, and then it went to Tuco, and then like it kind of from there. But Detroit and Chicago did both do a good job, like only making like smarter individuals. Like you had some head knockers get made, but like New York, you had guys with IQs of 26 walking around fully buttoned. You know what I mean? But you needed that many people. It's New York; it never sleeps. Like.
Well, JFG Stefano when don't tell me. They went in to psych evaluate him in prison.
Oh, yeah.
He had an IQ of 71.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Oh,
and they diagnosed him as a psychopath.
Oh, I bet. I think they gave him like schizophrenia and shit. Like I think like he was crazy. Didn't you say he was a Satanist freak?
Yes.
See, that's weird too, because it's like you all right? You gotta get off them ultralights, man. You gotta switch over to the Breeze. Get you some Breeze. Now Breeze is gonna sue me. And be like, we don't want anything to do with your weird ass show, kid. What are you doing? But no, like yeah, Mad Sam was like, and I always end up talking about him too. And I really do hate him. Like I'm really like every time I'm always like, good for you, Spilotro. If you did one good thing in your life, it was killing that piece of shit. If like clipping somebody had to get you somewhere, I'm glad it was him. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm pretty sure that's what got him his button, wasn't it?
Pardon?
I'm pretty sure that's what got Tony his button, wasn't it? Was the Mad Sam hit?
No. His first was Grimaldi.
No, his first murder was, but I thought the Mad Sam hit got him his button, got him made.
No.
He
was made before then. Milwaukee Phil made him.
Oh, okay, for sure.
He brought him in. And everybody thought he should be made. Even Lombardo thought he should be made.
Yeah, there's is it true that his they had an older brother, right?
Dr. Pat.
Yeah. Is it true when they were kids, he would go out in the neighborhood and say, I'll give $5 to anybody who'll fight my kid brother?
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a good time. Yeah, I mean, Tony Spilotro really is one of my like favored. Like
he grew up as a street punk. He just robbed people on the streets, but he wanted to be with the outfit. He was an outfit guy.
He wanted to be the boss too. He had big ambitions. I'll definitely give it.
He would have made it.
He would have. Vegas. I say it time and time again. Vegas is such a city laced with sin and death and misery and like carnage that like that's why people vacation there and then leave. to go.
There's a lot of fun out in Vegas.
There is a lot of fun out there. It's meant to dip in and then leave out of.
Everything that's illegal every place else is legal in Vegas.
Exactly. Like, I had to earn, didn't I? Right? Okay, so yeah. I love when they're like, gonna watch me? Fuck it, I'm gonna watch them right back. I know he did that. That I know he did for a fact with he would buy the same surveillance stuff as the feds at the gold rush.
He bought it from the CIA. He bought it down in Miami.
Okay. That makes sense. That's cool. That is funny.
That's down Miami. Actually, some of the same equipment I had, like Niagaras and different things like that.
Nothing says I'm doing cocaine like CIA level surveillance equipment to watch those who are watching you. Is it true that, like, I guess you weren't in Vegas, you wouldn't know, but like, I would like to know if he really had to switch cars that many times. Once or twice, I know, I get that. That's true, 100%. But the movie portrays him doing it like 5 or 6 times, but he was getting hot out there. Like, he was definitely
the last 3 years of his life. He must have snored the Andes. I mean, he was really into it.
It's too much. I mean, like, that's where I say, like, Chicago, New York. I mean, Detroit's just different on its own, but Chicago, New York are both cities that never sleep, but Vegas really doesn't sleep. You can get a drop of alcohol in Vegas every second of every hour of every day. There is never a shortage of cocaine out there, I'm sure.
No.
Like, and if there is, somebody's gonna
clocks. Nobody watches.
Prostitution's legal. They even have a little New York setup out there. That's how crazy Vegas gets. Like, they're like, hey, you want to be in New York? Well, you're in Vegas, but here's New York for you. Here's Paris. Like, we're going to sink a ship 40 times in a night. Like, welcome to Vegas, everybody. Bring the kids. But yeah, because like I said, Bugsy Siegel was, I mean, he was always a little, me and my buddy, I don't know, I forget if it's McBride or who it was. I'll feel bad that I forget, but if it's Casey and it's you, I'm almost positive it is. We debated about Bugsy Siegel and how we think, how kind of like how you say Tony Spilatro gets a little more hype than he should on how crazy they were. We were talking about that with Bugsy Siegel, and like, because everything you see about Bugsy Siegel is like, oh, he's crazy. Even the movie they did, Bugsy, like, he was over the top crazy. It's like, all right, well, you would have never made it, a day in that life without.
They said he was crazy, but he really wasn't. He was just.
No, he was a gangster.
He was deliberate, and if he said he was going to do something, he did it.
Right. I give you money to pay the heat.
He said, you're not going to do that. He'd say, yeah, watch me.
Right. We give you money to put the heat on, put food in the fridge. Your wife called Frankie and told her that the heat's off and you didn't gamble that fucking money. You're going to stand here and lie to me. Don't make a fuck out of me, Al. Don't embarrass. That's my favorite scene in the whole movie. That, or I know you say it didn't happen like that, but when he smacks the guy with the phone.
He said, tell me you gambled the money away. Tell me.
Tell me you gambled the fucking money.
I gambled the money away. You degenerate gambler.
Let me find out you fucked up. I'll leave you wherever I find you. But yeah, thanks a lot. Like, I'm sure Vegas was a headache for him right out of the gate.
I just never saw that side of him.
You were friends, you know what I mean? Like, there's like I said, I
learned more about him after September 15th, 1988, when I pulled the plug. I learned more about him after that.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, look at like the book I'm writing about the Columbine kids. Those are straight A. Fucking everybody thought like, yeah, they might be a little into like darker clothes and they listen to different music, but they're smart kids. They're seniors. They're almost done. You're gonna psych. Like, I mean, Tim McVeigh. He seemed like a real well put together young man. Went and served with him, but Waco did not sit right with him. I promise you that. Like, I mean, people have.
But those guy in Rhode Island. Those were atrocities. Ruby Ridge, Waco. Those were atrocities. They should have never happened.
Yep. And they single-handedly caused Oklahoma City. I'm not saying McVeigh wouldn't have done something, probably guerrilla anti-American, like terrorists in his life, but it wouldn't have been to that extent had he not, because he was there when Waco burned down. He was trying to get into the Branch Davidians. There's a video where he's selling bumper stickers and stuff. I promise you, I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link. I have that one saved.
I take your word for it.
Yeah. No, I'm obsessed with all subcultures and dark walks of life. The people who do some of the worst things in the world, besides like child molesters, stuff like that, I don't really dive into like serious. I don't like rapists. I'm good. Like when rape falls into like what I'm studying, like obviously bikers and gangbangers and different mob guys have raped people. I'm still gonna study that.
I have never understood in my life why somebody would commit rape. There's so many other people out there that want to go to bed with you. You certainly don't need to rape them.
It's really not even sexual for the most part with them. It's control, or like in like a Genghis Khan sense of the word. It's my DNA will live forever.
Yeah,
like
there's submissive women that love to be dominated. So
yeah, but Mad Sam DeStefano wants it right now and from her, and whether she wants it or not, because I'm Mad Sam DeStefano. What the fuck are you talking about? You know, like that's how a psychopath thinks. It's like, it's not my fault, it's your fault. You ended up here with me. You know what I mean? Like John Wayne Gacy, when they're interviewing John Wayne Gacy about the boys, he's like, well, if these boys were so good, how did they end up in my grasp? It's like, how are you blaming a bunch of kids for you rolling up on them and then sodomizing and strangling them? I don't understand where, but like he truly believes that, and then like truly believes God's gonna forgive him. He's going to heaven. He's gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like super, like same with Ted Bundy. Like Ted Bundy was like a chameleon.
Gacy.
What's up?
You know how they caught Gacy?
The smell? Wasn't it the smell? Was it the smell? Like the smell of the
No, I
bodies?
mean, actually, no, there's another way. They found that later. But how they actually caught him was there was he was weird. He was
a psychopath because he was able to live. He was a comptroller. He was a
good friend of mine examined him, a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
He found him to be sane because he said he knew right from wrong. He knew what he was doing was wrong, but the whole time
it's not that, it's the feeling.
He had a problem. He had a sexual problem. He had to dominate. If they were screaming, crying, struggling, he loved it.
Yeah.
He was into the S&M boot. But all of a sudden there was this young guy that came along, and he
picked him up at a pharmacy.
He chloroformed him.
Yeah, he picked him up at a pharmacy. Yep. About a job.
And that's another one. That one.
That's the last one he did.
Yeah. But this one guy, he wrote a book called 31 Below. You can barely find it. I mean, it's very rare now. But at the time I was in Chicago, it was all over the news and everything else.
Oh, shouts out Chicago. You guys got Gacy. I forgot about that. I didn't forget, but
at any rate, what happened was this one kid turned out to be a gay guy. And so he didn't put up any struggle at all. And it didn't turn Gacy on. So he puts him back in the car, butt naked, and brings him down to Lincoln Park and lets him loose in the snow. The cops arrest the guy and they take him to the police station. He tells them the story. They say, yeah, he's just a fruit. Leave him go. Yeah. And
I mean, crazy things happen like that. And during the library part of the massacre in Columbine, it's only 7 minutes, but it's where the most bodies are. They run into Eric Harris runs into this kid named John Savage, who they both kind of know. They're not really friends. Obviously, they're not really friends with anybody at this point. They're fucking lighting the school up. But he goes like, it's John. And like Dylan Klebold steps up and he goes, John Savage. He says, yeah. Eric Harris walks away. Dylan steps into like his peripherals, and John Savage looks up and he goes, hey, Dylan, like, what are you doing? Dylan says, I'll just killing people. And he goes, well, are you going to kill me? He goes, nah, man, just get out of here. Just run. You know what I mean? Like, talk about survivor's guilt. Like, nobody else got to leave. I mean, a bunch of people at the library, but 10 didn't. And you know what I mean? Like, it's truth is stranger than fiction. But with Gacy, I would disagree with your friend, because like him and Bundy are the like epitome psychopaths. They blend in. They're charming enough. He had big barbecues. He was a comptroller. Who's a sociopath? Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. That's a sociopath. You know difference from right from wrong. You just don't give a shit. And you're sporadic. You can't hold that. Like, when you look up the definitions of a psychopath, psychopaths 9 times out of 10 are not mine. They're not. They just don't have feeling. Wall Street brokers. He
was arrested. He cried like a baby all the way through interrogation.
It's an act. It's an act. They can do that. It's like it's like Ted Bundy proclaiming his innocence and defending himself until the breaking point. And then we got to see it. Just like, have you watched the 60 Minutes with Gacy?
Yeah.
When he is it Ed Bradley doing that one?
A good friend of my father's, Alice DeRocher.
Yeah.
Her son was killed by Gacy. And she called me the day he was being executed. She called me the night before, and she said, how you doing? Whatever. I was living in Sarasota, Florida then.
Yeah.
And she said, I think it was in the 90s, 1994.
Yeah.
1993.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
But she called me and she told me she was all broke up. She never got over it. She made the
How could you?
mistake. You know what she said to her kid? She was a single parent, and she had 3 children.
Yep.
And he was giving her a hard time. Her son.
Yeah.
She said, "If you can't live by my rules, get out of my house." And he did. He left, and she never saw him again. So she never got over it.
Yeah. And to Gacy, that's what he's talking about. But he believes in his heart that that's why he's fine. It's because, well, look, she drove him out of the house right into my arms. Not my fault. It's like, yeah, you could have not raped and killed him. Easily. You could have easily. I do it every day, not rape and kill young boys. Every day I wake up and I'm never like, I need to put 33 bodies underneath my floorboards. Ted Bundy is a weird one too.
He only planned on 1 or 2, but it got crowded.
Yeah, no kidding, right? He's all like, yeah, we had to make do. I want to know how he did that because he was a portly fella. And they were finding him all over the place. Like, Gacy's a crap thief.
Those young workers that worked for him, he got them down there to dig the holes.
True. That is true. You ever see the picture lineup of Ted Bundy, though, and how every little thing he's ever done makes him change almost he grows a mustache, does not look like,
I watched his execution here in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yep. I remember Tim McVeigh's. That's the only execution I remember watching. He has my favorite last meal of all time: 2 pints of Mick chocolate chip ice cream. It's always stuck with me. I seen that when I was 2002, so 92. I was 10. My mom,
Terre Haute, Indiana.
Yep, because my mom wanted to watch it because who didn't at that point? I don't know. 168-1 is the coldest line I've ever heard in a 60 Minutes episode, though. When they're like, "What would you say to anybody who says that your decisions cost you your life?" Like 168-1. They're like, "Oh my God, you couldn't write that shit."
John Gacy's last words were, they said, "Do you have any last words?" And he said, "Yeah, you can kiss my ass."
Yeah. Yep. He lived good off the government for his last meal. His last meal is like insane. You ever hear about the dude in Texas who his last meal was the biggest last meal ever? It was like 2 large pizzas, bucket chicken. Yeah. And when it all came, he refused to eat a single bite. And that's why they limit yep. I was like, that's the most gangster shit. That never say that I'm a gangster. No, that's gangster. Like, that is like, yeah, I'll take this. And it gets there and you are hungry, but you're like, nope, screw him. Like, then there was another dude, I forget his name. He ordered everything and a slice of pecan pie and set the pie aside. And they were like, "You want to eat that before?" He's like, "No, I'm going to come back for it." Yep. Yep. It is funny. I love dark shit like that.
That's totally delusional.
Yeah. I mean, it is. And that's what's funny to me about the levels of delusion, because we can all seem to fall into it. Because I can empathize with most anybody, like I said, besides child molesters, all that. If that's you, please get off my channel. Just please, I don't want you as a viewer. But anything else, I get it. You sell drugs, you rob people, you whatever. It's like, I don't agree with it. I'll go get a job, obviously, but I get it. You know what I mean? Also, I'm pretty good at talking to people, so I can't imagine somebody's like, "You're not good at talking to people. Maybe you're not that bright. Maybe." And then where you're living, people commit crimes regularly, whether it was, Brooklyn in the 70s, whether it's Chicago forever. Chicago just seems to get crazier and crazier.
Well, even LA's bad.
Yeah, LA is pretty rough. Which is kind of
and New Orleans,
Miami, Florida's rough
too.
Yep. Florida's rough too. Everywhere's rough. You know what I mean? It's like
everybody has their own rough section.
And everybody's got their own swagger and style of doing things. That's what I love too. It's like every subculture's got their own thing, like I said with bikers. Bikers are the only organized crime fast I know that they still live in mobile homes and single story houses and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of wise guys are too, but they're aspiring to the mansion, the Paul Castellano, a biker never wants that. They want their hog, their woman to shut the hell up, an open highway, a big old ball of crystal meth, and fucking and then to ride with the boys. And all the money goes to the club, like Crips have a certain way they call it crippin'. That's how they depict how they should live their lives. The Omerta, Cosa Nostra, the cartel is the strictest. Of everybody I've researched, the cartel does not mess around. They don't play. There is no, them and the Russians.
They don't have rules. They kill women and children.
So does mob. So does the mob. Oh yeah. I'll list you 40 right now.
Well, there was kind of an unspoken rule in Chicago. It was spoken. It wasn't unspoken.
Yeah. One of the most famous murders from that era, though, is of a woman, though.
Pardon?
Well, one of the most famous murders of that era is of a woman, though. Like she's beat to death with a bat. Hold on, I'm not gonna play it via the screen because I'll get sued for likeness rights. But I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna let the sound play to where I'm pretty sure, because they say it's Joe Batters, and the people who make these documentaries are pretty reputable. Could be clout, could be. I mean, there is always that chance. But yeah. So where can people find your book while I look this up?
You can get it on my website at redwemette.com, and that's an autographed edition. Or for the same price as an autographed edition, you can get it on, what's the name? Crown Books?
Kindle. Kindle.
Well, it's on Kindle. It's on
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Barnes
and Noble.
Crown Books.
Yeah.
Crown Books is dead.
Yeah.
Chicago.
That's enough.
That's what he was paid to do. He was paid to be a big, tough, gun-toting thug.
The time he spends at the boss's Yeah, I used to get groceries for Amazon, but then I got
shouts out YouTube. Well, I'm putting this onto YouTube later on, and you know what I mean. Appreciate you, YouTube. You're the realist. But will you stop taking down content, please? Freedom of speech.
We'd like to thank you
for
tuning into our mom.
Yeah, I'll have to just send it to you when I find it, because YouTube's a hassle right now. But yeah, it's alleged that that's where he got his name, was Joe Batters, was killing that woman with a bat in like 47.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a mean son of a bitch, man. People get old, they get cut, but it's like Carlo Gambino. That's why, like, I'm obsessed with
a certain age. He didn't have to do anything anymore. All he had to do is point his finger.
Yep, because like the biggest mistake Carlo Gambino made, I'm gonna lose some fans for this one, is not clipping John Gotti when he had broken a rule. That option came in front of Carlos desk, but he's an old man at that point, and Neil Delacroce really seems to like this kid. And Paul, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, you know, it's fine. Whereas 1958 Carlo, because he took over in 57, so 1958.
Wasn't Neil in line to be upped?
Him and Paul Castellano sort of shared an underboss spot in a weird way, and then you had.
But he was sick.
Yeah, Neil Delacroce was sick, and he was facing like 50 years. He was like that. Him and Carmine Galante are the only two people. There was this one corrections officer who I think was at Rikers, who said that the only two people who ever made him feel uncomfortable, like from like mob guys wise, was Neil Delacroce, and Carmine Galante. He says, because when you looked in either of their eyes, you could see that there was nothing there. They would clip you just the same. Like, he even told John Gotti at one point, he's all like, Carlos spared you. He's like, but if he'd have told me to come down here today and you had to go, I would come here today with these two zips and you would have went. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Neil Delacroce lived La Cosa Nostra the way it was really supposed to be lived, him and a handful of others, but he literally spent more time in prison than out. He never bitched about the spot he was gave when he was turned down for boss, which would have been the second. He was an Anastasia supporter, first off. So you start there. Carlo takes over. Okay, no argument. And Neil's not old at that point either. He, could have felt some type of way and did something, but no, because that's the rules. Your boss is your boss. And without the rules, we're going to crumble. Like,
he believed in the old rules.
He believes in it. And that's what's funny about like the subset of people in subcultures is like, what are you here for? Like, why does every different person that wears a Hell's Angels cut want to wear a Hell's Angels cut? Some for the women, some for the drugs, some just for the rush. Others, really just like
for the rush, guy.
Oh yeah. But
you get the rush from the women and the drugs.
Oh yeah, but I know some guys who literally, like, there was this guy Billy Watt for the Devil Disciples. He was all like, he's like I grew up on 7 Mile. He's like, I made money with the homeboys. I was making money like the homeboys. Like, why am I gonna go ride with a bunch of? He's like, and then they showed me they was making money like that too. So I said, fuck it, put on a vest. There are some people who it's like, you're a criminal already. Kind of like how Frank Collada just sort of was like, oh, okay. Like when Tony's all like, we're gonna be alpha guys. Well, I mean, if you say so, Tony. Like, I'd rather just be a home invader my whole life.
Yeah, and when he did that, he used to hold women and children hostage and all kinds of things.
Oh, I bet. I can see it. I mean, that's the life, man. It is what it is. Griselda Blanco, Pablo Escobar, John Gotti, Tony Spilatro, fucking all the way to the Columbine kids. Murder's murder. And like I said on the last one we did, so I want to say it again. I really do feel like it's one of the last natural things I'm not saying it's a good or a right thing, but natural, like primal. You know what I mean? Like everything else we do, we fight instincts all day long.
That's
know,
my personal dislike, and that's why I got involved doing what I did, trying to put bad people away with the.
you don't view it like the trash, like the trash taking itself out. Like I know they're hurting innocent people in between it, but like like when the gangsters come in toes up, like I'd be lying if I said like I made it. God bless. I made a YouTube compilation of the song "God's Gonna Cut You Down" by Johnny Cash. Just wise guys mug shots, like death shots, funeral shots, like playing in sync with that. Like I made a video of that because it's like, but I would never want to see other people laid out like that. You know what I mean? But I don't mind seeing Osama bin Laden laid out. I don't mind when they laid out, Noriega. I don't, killing somebody's not right regardless. But
Noriega's alive.
Noriega, they killed him. Noriega?
No, they brought him to Miami.
I thought they killed him. Oh, that was Pablo.
Yeah.
They killed Pablo.
They brought him to Miami. And then when they got him to Miami, he was in the MCC there. And he built his own prison right next door.
Yep. I know.
But his money.
Yep. Like I was telling you, Pablo made so much that rats ate $1 million a year, they estimated. But the funny part is the real G of all of them isn't either of the two we just named. It is Griselda Blanco. She might have only moved similar amounts of product, but that woman has 1,000 more murders than Noriega and Pablo combined. She named all three of her sons.
The most dangerous out of all the drug dealers.
I'm tattooing her mugshot on me, like for real. Like hers, Carlo Gambino's, Jim Morrison, Sid Vicious. I love mugshots. Like it's another thing with me where I think people are at their most honest, unless they're like super, drunk or something like that. But like, like even think of like you got Carlo Gambino and he's just kind of like dazed off, looking like, how am I not going to get caught next time? You got John Gotti and he's got a big dumb smile. I'm like, hey, I'm going to walk, like, even though that's the one that's going to stick.
I got the biggest kick out of Joey Lombardo. One of his mug shots, he's going like this.
That
is
is funny.
To see his face, so he goes, ah.
That is funny. That's why I'm a big fan of Morrison's, because like he still just looks like Jim Morrison, but like he's looking way off to like the, because he's just gone. Same with Johnny
Coyote.
Yeah. Oh, that was the night he was hammered in I forget what state, and he put his finger through his zipper. Is what got them banned.
That was in Miami. That was in Miami. Yeah. And then
fucking Florida, man. Florida just.
He jumped bond and he decided to leave to go to Paris, and he went to France.
Yep, died. And he died. Club 27. Yes, sir. I love the Doors though, man. It's good music, most definitely.
He's a good legend.
Yeah, I got a nice little. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got that down North Carolina at what is it? Pop Fizz or something like that. It's they're just down that way. It was a cool little soda shop. It was cool. It wasn't the greatest root beer I've ever drank or nothing like that, but the bottle was worth it, I mean, I like stuff like that, knickknacks, stuff like that, but yeah, nonetheless, your book, we keep just starting to get tired. We keep just veering off, but your book, what made you want to write it? Like, you'd already did what you did, so like, but what made you want to like
I was satisfied with what I did, but John Drummond from CBS News, several law enforcement officers, several FBI agents told me that if I didn't tell my story, nobody would ever know. I would die with all the other secrets.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair because you didn't get that Pistone kind of coverage. It was cool to go back and see your videos where they were still blacking you out, like to where they still got like it's just the silhouette and they said, but I can still recognize your voice having talked to you now. Like it's funny.
There's two of them. One I did with John Drummond.
Yep.
CBS News.
Yep.
I set up a meeting with him, and at that time there was $1 million contract on my head, and so he decided
some heavy hitters out to do it too.
Pardon?
Some heavy hitters on the tape to do it too.
There was one that bothered me.
Was it the German?
No, I locked him up.
No yeah, my bad.
No bond. But Harry Edelman got out, and I thought, oh man, here comes Harry, right?
You're like, oh great. So
the assistant attorney, state's attorney, called me up and he said, "Don't worry, he's not going to be out long. We're going to retry him on a murder. It was fixed. The case was in. Judge Wilson, and
no shot for him.
They got Judge Wilson under Greylord, and he blew his brains out. He just walked outside. He said, he stood next.
He said, "I'm done." He says, "I'm out of here."
He stood next. a tree and said,
Yeah,
I don't want
I get
anybody
it.
else to get hurt. So he blew his brains out.
No, I got it, guys. Like, yeah. That's why that is one of my favorite. I forgot he. Like, man, what a good newspaper. Whoever came up with that for their newspaper heading when the guy was like, because him and Gotti got into an argument over a parking space. Gotti hit him with a bat, and he was obviously they were going to go to court. The state picks up charges like that. Even if you're like, no, it's all fine. The state's like, we don't think so. And they brought him in. And he now had become the boss of the Gambino family. They had made the move on podcast, Solano. Boom, he's the Teflon, or not the Teflon Don, the Dapper Don. Teflon Don comes after the third charge, and he just won't stop flaunting in front of the government. Fuck him though, push him all the way to the edge, right, John? That's right. He did that time.
But the guy got amnesia.
Yeah, he forgot. He forgot. His exact words were, if I were to sit here and say that it was Mr. Gotti and was Mr. I think it was DeChico that was facing. Oh no, Ruggiero was facing it with him. He's all like, I couldn't say that in good conscience. It's like, oh yeah, you could. Yeah, you most definitely could. But what are you gonna do? Bruce Cutler too, man. Hell of a good. Actually, I gotta take that back. Sandy Bowles fixing every trial. He's just in there in bed with everybody. Like, oh, yeah, here's 60 grand. Here's 60 grand. Here's 60 grand. Like,
oh, those mob lawyers, they make the money.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all for. That's what it's all. That's the other thing that's really fascinating me is like it never becomes enough. The Lufthansa heist, $6 million in cash. Jimmy Burke should have never had it, but 2 weeks later he's in the heroin business. Why? Like, to what point and purpose? Like, except once I thought about it, I was like, a lot of money you got to spend. There's only a handful of people who are going to take that kind of hot money right this second. Brazen idea though, man. Just pay a crew of guys to like rob a bank, like just give them a little taste and then just kill them all of them. Time to start fresh anyway, right? Spring cleaning, if you will.
Clean house.
Well, I mean, also I got to give credit where credit's due, and that's where I say with Spilatro too is that like they're over the top aggressive people, but for the lifestyle they're in and the type of they're dealing with just as degenerate people. Like just because you're like, oh, I'm sorry, but you're still a piece of shit who's backdooring everybody, thinking like the guy who's like, I give you money to put the heat on, but like that, you're still just as big a piece of shit as Tony Spilatro. Like as far as like you live a decorative life, I'd say. You know what I mean? Like your kids shouldn't be home freezing. There should be food in that fridge because like you're out gambling. Like he's a gangster. At least he's all like, well, I want to live a degenerate life. I got to get money.
Now remember, every time he gave out when that was a juice loan.
Oh yeah, yep. What did he? Do you know what he charged?
On that kind of money, small money like that, it was 10% a week.
Not bad.
A week.
I love that Mad Sam took high risk clients.
Oh, he charged 40, 50%.
Yeah, that's just like what I know. I guess I would just kill myself after I spent the money, but did you ever hear the story of I think Colada told it that he watched him one time like foaming at the mouth while he was like torturing some guy?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Gamaldi testified to that in court. But I've seen Sam foam. I've seen him foam. Yeah, oh yeah.
Just
When he got angry, when he started going into a rage, he spit, he foamed. I mean, it was all over the place.
Man, I hope him and Nikki Scarfo are having a good time in hell. For real. They're the two that I researched where I'm like, man, you're just like Carmine the Snake's pretty bad, but like I admire that you got one of the only actual mob hits put into one of the Godfathers, where the guy's choking him with the rope. That's a Carmine Persico anecdote when he was trying to kill Kid Blast Gallo. Yeah, but a cop walked in and they put it in the movie. So that's pretty cool. And the fact that you like defended yourself at the commission trial and never see and when you look at his picture when he's first getting much, he literally looks like Pee Wee Herman almost. Like Pee Wee Herman gonna play hold on, I'll try to find the book. I'll plug these real quick and then we'll just keep plugging yours. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's 20-year-old Carmine Persico. And from that's a murder charge. He's going to get out, go back in, get out, go back in, spend most of the time in prison. Along with Carmine the Snake book, which is written by Frank D'Amato. Big shout out to him. He's a cool guy. Patty Wax by TJ English is a good one. I'm a big fan of that one. And then if you just starting out the mob, you got to get the Mob Bible.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 Families, Slew and Reb. He does not play. You want to talk about it? I wouldn't argue him. He'd be like, no, that's not how it went. I'd be like, you're right. Like him and Scott Bernstein both. Shout out to those guys. And then back to Nobody Cares and What I Did About It.
Basically, it just tells about the individuals. It talks about Marshall Cafano and how I got involved with him. Talks about way back with Kurt Hansen, who was a hitman for Jimmy Couture.
Yep.
And I wanted to go into the porn business. And because I was kind of coached by the FBI to do it.
And no, it's a non-violent. It's a
non-violent crime. So
yeah, that's why Donnie Brasco was a jewel thief.
Yeah. So Jimmy spoke broken English. He was from Sicily, and he says he couldn't do it, not in his territory.
Yeah.
So, go see Joey. He's a nice boy. He'll take care of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, your brother. Like, what are you saying, guy? What are you talking about? Like, those guys are fun. My sister married a Greek guy, and I'm just running around this wedding hammered, telling them all they look like different gangsters. I know, and they're like, "Yeah, that's offensive as fuck, bro." I'm like, "Oh, well, it's my sister's wedding." Like, because there was one guy there. As much as I hate him in real life, I was like, "That's cool. You look like him. Look just like Nicky Scarfo." Like the short, the hair. I was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna get clipped tonight." And I'm wearing a suit opposite of the wedding colors, you know, because I just have to stand out. So I got the blacked out with the murder red like tie, and then everyone's wearing gray and blue, and I'm just going nuts, man. My sister's wedding. You know, what are you gonna do? Shout out to Sarah and Tony. I love you guys. I'll be out in California soon, eventually, maybe.
You got a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, I got a lot of places to go, a lot of people to see. Got this itch on my back to just keep traveling. I mean, I'll always end up coming back home in spaces, like I said. Moving into an apartment with my buddy Adam, who helped me with the audio and shit earlier, and then just still gonna like work at the place I'm working, doing what I'm doing. But like I said, I'm just gonna be like, no, I need weekends off, 3 weekends off in August, or I don't know, I'll go drive a high-low somewhere else. But I can do whatever. I've built houses, I've done whatever. So like, that's why I've never gotten like just giving up, not having a job. Like at least go be a gangster. Like when all else fails, that's where I can like give gangsters that. It's like, well, you didn't just sit on your ass. You know what I mean? Like he took risk. It's not. I mean, for some of them, they loved hurting people. For other ones, I know it couldn't have been fun all the time. You know, like you're like, dude, I really don't want to have to do it. Don't make me be the bad guy. Like, even like, I mean, like even if putting somebody's head in a vice, like you get known for that, but it doesn't mean he wanted to do it. It's just all like, dude, he wasn't gonna crack. I didn't know what else to do. I was like, I was backed into a corner. Like, what am I just gonna do? Be like, well, all right, if you're not gonna tell us, I guess I'm out of torture methods. Like. Better like next time, hey, let me cut you loose. Sorry, you need some water? Like, no, you're gonna get the information. So what would you and Tony do when you guys would hang out?
Pardon?
What would you and Tony do when you guys would hang out?
We drink scotch. We just lay back, drink scotch, tell jokes, talk about women.
You were probably a real
Tony loved the women, man.
Oh yeah. One sec. Yeah, I'm gonna edit all this out.
He was cheating on. He cheated on his wife so much it's pathetic. But he was at that.
They all do.
I
mean, besides Carlo Gambino and I think Joe Batter.
Not as bad as Tony. Tony was. I mean, Jerry, Lefty's wife, everybody's wife.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He wanted to.
He went down the
and
line.
that's where I say like he does border that sociopath like type of like. Yeah, like I know it's wrong. Like he knew that could get him killed. He knew that it was fuck it. You know?
He didn't care.
He didn't care. He just didn't.
His little head told his big head what to do.
So, I fucked up good this time, Frankie. Just him and Frank Vincent. I love another one of my favorite scenes is when he's all like, I think you got the wrong idea about me. I think I should tell you it's what it really is.
The banker?
Yeah. And I'll split your fucking head right open in front of everybody.
That's him talking. Really, that's him talking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way he was.
Oh, yeah.
He was very cool, calm, and collected. He never screamed. He said, I think you got the wrong idea about me.
Yeah. I'll get up nice and early. I'll walk down to the bank.
I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to
come in and see you.
I'm going to go over to the bank, and I'm going to bash your skull in.
Yeah. He's like, if you don't have my money for me, I'll crack your fucking. Yep.
By the time you're coming out of a coma, hopefully I'll be out of jail, and I'm going to come back and do it again.
My favorite part though is because I'm fucking stupid, is what he says. Like, he's like, I don't give a fuck about jail. That's my business. That's what I do. Like, and he's right. I mean, he's like, if there's one thing I can appreciate about guys like that, it's like he knew it was a 50-50 shot going to that house. He didn't call the feds. He didn't turn on the, you know what I mean? Didn't beg, didn't nothing. I'm surprised he wanted to say a prayer, but
Well,
gonna
that
ask
was when he was watching his brother being kicked to death.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna
garroted.
ask a lot of people that, and that one's gonna be. I'm interested to see what people say. That's always gonna be my.
He was at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
Mikey was at the bottom.
Yep.
He'd been tackled by Nick Calabrese.
Yeah.
He
Oh
grabbed
yeah.
him by the legs. And then
Yeah.
Louis Ebele put a garrote around his neck and choked him.
Yep. And unlike the
He knew
movie
that his
Casino,
life was over. He saw all the
Yeah.
other guys down there and he said, "Can I at least say a prayer?"
like the way I've read it the one time, and it probably did happen the way you're saying is that when he went to shake hands with somebody, he seen gloves on him because unlike in the movie Casino, they weren't beat with bats.
Everybody in the basement had gloves on. And he was sitting in the living room with DeFranzio and the other guys, the Wings. Wings was there. Wings. Trying to remember his name.
Weiss.
Wings. I can't remember his name right now. But at any rate, he was there and they fed him some scotch. They had drinks together. They laughed. They had a good time. When they got to the basement door, he saw the gloves and they knew it right away.
And that to me is one of the most fascinating part about the mob. The mob kills like no other facet out there. With come on, we'll have some drinks, we'll relax. It's gonna be good. And like,
hey, why not have dinner? Your last dinner. And then right after dinner or the middle of dinner, you get shot in the back of the head.
It's the timing too, is what's like funny, because like they will the smile and the nod all the way up until the opportune moment of, murdering you. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, want to help me out? You reach in there, I pulled my back yesterday helping Karen. I just reach in that. Yeah, it's right there, bud. And reach behind them, and there goes the popper. You know what else I learned about mob guys? They use shitty caliber ammunition. Like, no wonder these guys are hit 9-10 times. You're hitting them with a 32, man. Like, you get something with a little more oomph in it. Like I'll never understand why mob guys love the 38 snub so much. I got
to tell you, Frank's weapon of choice. He was a signature killer. He never got caught for one murder. You know what he used?
What's that?
A Colt Woodsman. He'd put one shot in the leg to put him down, 22 caliber. One shot in the leg to put him down, and 7 in the head.
I just feel like you could have hit somebody with a 40 from like 20 yards away and been good. But it lasts loud too.
And then one time when he killed Darn Arno, down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He pulled up alongside of him and pulled out a 45.
Yeah.
Dead blank, shot him with a 45 twice.
Yep. That'll do it. That will do it.
Oh, he's only about two and a half meters away from him.
Yeah.
Car doors.
That's I don't want to spoil too much, but that's Larry Mazza has a claim to fame for a hit like that where he killed Nicky Graciano, something like that. He was Nicky Black was a heavy hitter in the Colombo family. He was a big captain, and Larry knew him growing up, and there was split during there because nobody's warred more than the Colombo family as far as mobs go. Except maybe Sicily. So I'm not counting Sicily, I'm talking here. But they pulled up right alongside, and he I'll let him tell the story, but nonetheless, point blank with a shotgun to the back of the head.
That's it.
That is it. But like, what gets me is what people like. Some people, it seems like, I don't know. It's almost like they want the hit to not go through because, like, I don't know. It seems like there's a couple times in like mob like history and stuff like that where it's a little too convenient. Like the shots popped. Like I don't think Vincent DeChen really tried to hit Frank Costello. This one's for you, Frank, and it skims his head.
Chicago, man. I'll tell you what. When Big Bob Davis was, I did a video on YouTube about it.
Yeah,
Bob Davis.
Yeah,
I was in my GTO. He pulled up next to me. He had a Mopar, and he pulled up next to me. And he had a double barrel shotgun.
Yeah.
He stuck it out the window. He was not playing games.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, if I'd have got hit, I'd have been gone.
Oh, yeah, it'd have been over.
I downshifted and gone. I picked it up.
That's not true either. Lance Kirkland shot point blank with a double barrel in Columbine. He's still alive. Right in the face. Bird shot, though. Those kids didn't know what they were using. Like, life is weird, man. It is really like, some people get shot 8-9 times and heal up fine. Some people get shot once and that's that.
Well, Sam DiStefano, he went with his Tony went with his brother Mario.
Yeah,
And they told him they knew where Grimaldi was, the chief
Yeah.
was, and they said,
Yeah.
we're going to go get him. And so he was waiting in the garage, and Mario was a husky guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
And Tony was slight. So he got behind, and short too, very short.
Yep.
So he got behind Mario. He got behind Mario. The first shot, Mario or Sam just instinctively put his arm up. Like this. And he blew his arm off from the elbow all the way down. I got the photos.
Oh, yeah. You got the photos?
Yeah.
See, I shouldn't be that excited about that. That's what's wrong with
the
me.
Second one, he blew his head off.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Are they not in black and white? Because all the ones I've ever seen are just in black and white. And it's hard to tell. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
they're police photos.
Oh, okay. All police photos are black and white? Yeah, I guess they're not really trying to dive into it. Like,
no.
I'm like, yo, I want to see Mad Sam's actual brain spread. He was a piece of shit. Like I said, don't normally want to see that with most people, but there's a handful of people that's like, oh, you got their murder shot? Like, that, like the colored version of Osama bin Laden's. That didn't shake me up at all. I was like, oh, good. You know what I mean? Only thing that bothered me was, oh, you hit him in the face conveniently, huh? We can't find this motherfucker for 20 years just about, and you got him with a headshot from 150 yards out like that. It's probably not Osama bin Laden then, bro. You probably just shot some dude and you're like, yep, we got him. Mission over, boys, because it's convenient how all those guys are dead, too.
Well, 90% of the shots that I know of are from 8 to 10 feet away.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I was just kidding about the 150-yard part. I'm just saying it's awful convenient how that entire Navy SEALs team is dead. That took out Osama, not one of them still around to tell their story.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe because it wasn't Osama, you know, like same with Pablo. Pablo was awful convenient. He had one here, and then a bunch in the chest. Huh, very suspicious. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like, I don't know, some things are just like truths too clean sometimes for me, but then other times not. Like, I believe that the CIA and the mob conspired to have Kennedy killed. I believe Oswald pulled off all those shots. I watched a 78-year-old man do it on the History Channel to show it could be done at a moving target. Truth and like fiction blend, and it's strange. Another fun fact, you know who was arrested that day in Dallas, Texas? Woody Harrelson's dad, with a violin case that had a rifle in it.
You know who was there?
Who?
That I know was there? Chucky Nicoletti was in the storm drain.
Nice.
He was with Giancana.
Yeah. I believe that they had the setup for a memory. I do feel that Oswald got the shots off. I just do. I don't know why I do. I just do. Well,
how do you account for the one shot that went through the front of the windshield? It didn't.
Bullets are crazy though. Like I know you like shooting guns. I love shooting guns too. Like, you can shoot dead nuts straight onto something. I've seen it end in like a wow. How the hell did you know what I mean? Same with a shell. Think about even just a shell casing as an example. That don't ever land in the same spot. I have boom and it lands right there, and I have boom and it lands right in my neck. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bullet, man. We're breaking it past different like things in the atmosphere. I'm not a scientist. I don't know, but like it's got to do like its own kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because that's why this, like with snipers, they say like even the slightest wind makes a difference. How the Earth's tilting, is it like, you know what I mean? Like the clouds in the sky, the humidity, that's why you have a spotter and a shooter. Like that's why, like you said, most good shots are taken.
That's what I learned in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
You had a spotter and a shooter.
Yep. I do love Full Metal Jacket, Arlie Emery's Charles Whitman. Anybody know who he is? Just going through the Lee Harvey Oswald. Anybody know who he is? Like, yep. Yeah, buddy. You know John F. Kennedy's last words?
No.
That's obvious. Somebody said to him right before he got in the car, Mr. President, you know that Dallas loves you? And he says, well, that's obvious. He might have said a little something to Jackie besides it, but like the last like reputable thing to another, to the American public or whatever that he said was that's obvious. Yep. Oscar Wilde's was either these curtains go or either this wallpaper goes or I do, and then he died. I like people's last words too, like it's
you know what the most common last words are?
Oh fuck.
Close to it. It's oh no.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh no.
Yep. Yep. I know mine's gonna be a cuss word. Like, damn it, or like something stupid. Oh,
last time I got shot. last time I got shot. I shot in the leg. Last time I got shot.
You say last time I got shot? How many times have you been shot?
3.
You're like, oh, a baker's dozen there, Bob.
Last time I got shot, I said, "You son of a bitch."
Right.
And I reached over and grabbed the gun out of his hand. That guy ran like you never saw before.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like
He
that's
expected
gotta
me
be
to
a
fall
weird,
down and
gotta
die.
be a
you know?
weird interchange from somebody who's like boom, and then you're like, oh damn, you're not dead. Cool, I'm kind of happy about that, but oh damn, you're not dead though either. Like,
Oh,
did
he
you
didn't
see
have a
that?
chance. I didn't give him a second chance.
Yeah. Did you see that video from the snow shoveling Jesus incident in Rhode Island
No.
where the guy killed his two neighbors because they were being dicks. Don't get me wrong, but oh man, it's ruthless. He hits him with it's like a 25 or a 38. The wife falls in the street. The dude falls up near the garage. He comes up. He gets all up on the woman, hits her like 2-3 more times. Goes up, hits the dude, walks back up to his house. So the neighbors start to come and they see what's happening. Yada yada. Next thing you know, the neighbor guy takes off because you're seeing it from the surveillance footage of like on their garage, like on the couple's garage. You see him coming back down the driveway with a rifle. He walks up to the wife. He says, "You should keep your fucking mouth shut," and shoots her in the head. He walks up. I did laugh at it morbidly. Not at the her. I felt bad for. She was still being a bitch, but I don't like watching women get hurt. I got too many sisters and shit. But him, I low key laughed at because the whole time before everything started, he's a pussy. And when he walks, he goes, "Pussy, huh?" And fires 3 more times. Then he goes back home and kills himself. Yep. Leave people alone. If you're gonna learn anything from me, that dude probably just wanted to be left alone. Probably divorced. Probably not the happiest guy in the world. You two are happily married. Go be happily married in your house and leave him alone. Like,
Funny story. Real funny story. Frank and I are sitting around. I'm videotaping Frank, right?
yeah,
And across the street from me, there was a loft apartments. It used to be Dr. Scholl's, but they called it Cobbler Square. They build these loft hippie apartments.
hipster joints. Yeah,
So there's this guy over and he's moving his daughter out. And there's a commotion in the next room. So the father goes over to the next room. He gets aced. I mean, the old man gets aced, right? And so
hello, what's going on over
it's
here?
in the papers and everything. And Frank comes in to see me. And he says, "Did you hear about what happened across the street?" And I said, "How could I miss it, Frank? I heard it. I actually heard the shots."
Yeah,
And so he said, "You know what the moral of that story is, don't you?" And I said, "No, tell me the moral." He said, "Mind your own business."
for real, for real. Like, yeah, that's actually where I give Hunter Thompson a lot of credit. He was the writer who wrote with the Hells Angels, the Fear and Loathing, Dr. Gonzo guy. Well, when he was writing with the Hells Angels, what broke him was he was at a party and he's watching this dude just go off on just beating his old lady and beating his dog. He walked up to him. He's like, "Dude, only a punk beats their dog and their wife up." And they jumped him. Obviously it's the Hells Angels, you know what I mean? But I forget who it was. I think it was either Tiny Lester or it might have even been
That's how my cousin died. He was
getting jumped?
He was watching a biker beat up his gal.
Yeah.
He walked over and he was drunk. And he
Yeah.
turned around and said, "That's no way to treat a lady."
Yeah.
You know what the guy did? He stuck him with a knife, cut him right up the gut.
Yep. It used to make me feel some type of way too, but then I come to the conclusion that they're probably a delicious bundle of shitty person for each other. She's probably equal to. There's no way she's.
He killed about 8 or 9 people.
Oh, I mean, like the wives in this scenario, like I've stopped feeling bad. I'll never not feel bad for a woman who's raped or something like that. But like how a lot of wise guys treat their wives like shit. A lot of well, I mean, you're also you're here doing these things with them in a sense. Especially when it comes to biker, old ladies in biker clubs. If anybody gets down, it's probably them. Honestly,
they're a part of it. They know what's going on.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna hold the smoking gun. They'll catch that charge. They have the drugs on it. You know what I mean? The cartel tries to keep their wives and daughters and stuff out of it. That's same with the mob. Same with you know what I mean? But yeah, bikers there, it's a one for all and all for one mentality. And they do mean with everything: sex, drugs, bikes, rock and roll, all of it.
Hank Schmidt came back, FBI agent, came back to me. He was on assignment. He had to go talk to these bikers undercover.
Yeah.
He came back to me and he was sitting around. We were talking and he said, "Those guys are crazy." He said, "I talked to this one guy and he said, 'What are you going to do? Kill me? I don't give a fuck.'"
No, seriously. They have almost a born to lose mentality, I call it. I got nothing but respect for them before I got a bunch of biker clubs pissed at me. You guys' commitment is next level. 500 bylaws, that's as many laws as there is in society. You know what I mean? Like the one that got me was like, if my mom dies or some brother dies from Kansas City that I fucking know, I'm not going to his funeral. I'm going to my mom's. I don't care. You're gonna kill me. You're gonna take these tattoos, whatever. Like that's why I couldn't join any of these things. I was always just fascinated by them. I'm like, yeah, it'd be fun, but I'm too anti-establishment. Any establishment, but I do like that people. Everybody needs something. It seems like
you could live by the 10 Commandments. They cover all of it.
Red, do not bring Jesus onto my channel.
I'm not bringing Jesus. I'm bringing Moses.
Moses. Moses. I'm bringing a non-denominational. I don't have a religion.
By the 10 Commandments, it's in the Quran too. It goes all the way back to Arabs.
You know that this country was founded by godless heathens, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Who didn't want to pay tax.
This country. What are you talking about? The whole world was.
The world. I don't know, that Middle East war seems to be stepped in religion for eternity. I don't know what kicked that. Just the Middle East. They've been fighting forever. Like Syria and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that used to be before World War One. That was the United Arab Republic, and it got divided up into Kuwait. Got divided up to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Divided up into Iran.
Jerusalem's over there, right? Yeah, Jerusalem's over there. Jerusalem's over there. Yeah, yeah.
But Jerusalem's just a city. That's Palestine.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, I feel bad for I don't know.
And Beirut, that was all part of the United Arab Republic. If you look at the old maps from years ago, it was all one country.
Oh yeah.
But there were all tribes, and they got together, and nobody gets along.
That's what's funny about when I talked to, and a big shout out to him, David Brexter. You know David. He talks about, he's like, oh no, if you guys got counties over there, no, but I'm like, yeah, dude, we got counties. It's just inside of states, because like the way that everything's broke down over there is counties like Tunham is like its own sector, and then Millwall, and but it's all still Europe. It's still England. It's still, and that's another group of people that's soccer hooligans, football hooligans. I'm sorry, you guys. Like that'll get you beat up. Yeah, that's because that's a violence just for violence sake. There is no profit to it. If anything, you're just going to end up doing prison time and ruining your life. And the thing about hooligans that I find
prison time over there is a lot different than here.
Yeah, no, not for hooliganism. It's a year of first offense, 5-year mandatory off the second rip. Third time you get 20.
Yeah, but the living conditions.
Oh yeah. But I mean, but that's the thing. That's what I was getting at. Is like with hooligans, it's a vast majority of who encases it. There are doctors that are hooligans. There are lawyers that are Millwall hooligans. It's a fraternity. It's like think of a frat house at a college in America. They're all usually going to be something prestigious, and yet they're all kind of douchebags. You know what I mean? Like only because they get together. Oh, just bumped my knee. And that's essentially what like a soccer hooligan is you're normal. You're normal 5 days of the week, but then Millwall goes to Tunham, or Tunham comes to Millwall, or Millwall goes to West Ham, and you turn into a savage, just an animal for just to let off your steam. We do it here in America too. We just don't have the pizzazz. We just riot. Like we're just like, yeah, burn a car, flip a car, like But like for them, it's like they do their own thing. They also do weird thing, like they get really nice clothes to go in instead of like the big fan gear and stuff like that. They're in like Burberry zip ups. It's just to fight them and ruin them, and like they love it. It's a buzz to them. It's the buzz. Like they love that shit. Trying to dodge the cops, old Bill as they called him over there, like trying to find a spot to meet up and fight. Because the zoning area, if you get banned for hooliganism, let's say you live in Millwall and a game's there that day, you can't be within 30 kilometers of there, or the whoever they're playing. You can't be in that city either. Like, or you go right back to prison. Like, it's crazy. Like, knife crime over there is crazy too. It shows that people get it no matter how. Murder is natural.
I was doing a interview for BBC over in London.
Yeah.
And while I was doing it, they had a couple bombings in London.
Oh yeah.
And they were just terrorist bombings, but things were pretty rough then. And I was a little concerned. And this gal that's coordinating, she comes to me and she says, "Oh, you Americans, you get so upset over this stuff. It happens here every day." And I'm thinking to myself, more reason to leave fast.
What's weird though is like we have it here too, and it's different when you're away from home. Like, I can see some shit in Detroit that I'm like, oh, that's Detroit for you. But I see that in parts of Chicago where I'm like, I don't really know my ins and outs and my exits. It's like, oh, this is kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm on a shooting on Gratiot, I'm just going to like slide over to Jeffords and like, you know, do my thing. If I'm on a shooting in O Block, I'm like, where in the fuck do I go? You know what I mean? Like, oh, hopefully this dumpster holds, you know? Like, well, what do you mean I'm in Staten Island? I thought I was trying to get to Queens. Like, you know, like, or like godforsaken state they call Florida. I'll see you guys in August. It's not called the Cross Country Chaos Tour for no reason. I plan on not being back allowed in 37 out of 50 states, including Florida. I do have a guy I'm going to try to come see. And
You'll have some nice hot weather when you get here.
I know. I'm picking the worst time to come down. I'm like, yo, is it swampier than hell down there? Cool, I'll be there. Like, but no, it's just because I'll have enough time in at work to where I can request, you know, time off.
There's no swamp by me.
No swamp by you. No, I'm guessing like everybody I'm gonna go meet's gonna stay free rad. Sincerely doubt any of you guys are gonna be like, yeah, we don't have AC. Like, I'm sure I'm good. Oh, it's gonna be a blast.
Snakes, bugs, insects, we got.
Can we go kill some alligators? Can't you just do that down there?
I eat gator tail.
Oh, I'm just gonna leave them where I find them, Tony's Pilatra style. I don't want to eat them. I mean, actually, gator tail is the most protein-packed thing that there is for meat-wise, according to Joe Rogan.
It's against the law. They go out poaching at night. They shine them, then they kill them. One shot in the head with a 22.
Oh yeah, I bet. Wow, you guys are brave out there, man. I'm not hitting that thing with anything less than like a 40. I'm gonna be like, what's good? Pow, pow. Like, I'm gonna. Nope, 22 my ass. I've seen a deer get up after getting hit with a 22. No, thank you, sir. That is a dinosaur you're shooting. Shoot it with something proper.
No, you hit in the head. It's gone.
I believe you, but I'm still just gonna. I want to be shot. I like the for sure. You ever hear of the Best Friends gang from Detroit?
No.
Who tallied roughly 100 to 150 murders in a 5-year stretch? They were a murder gang, they call it. It's like its own little subset to where they were like, kind of like a Murder Incorporated that killed for drug dealers to get drugs so that they could sell them. And then eventually they turned on their plug, killed their plug. I should not be forgetting this one. Scott would be disappointed. Maserati Rick. His name was Rick Carter, Maserati Rick. Really nice guy. Like just a hustler. Couldn't really take it to somebody. He could have, like, might be able to shoot him from a long way away. But Al Prophet did an interview with, and I'm going to try to find a way to get him on here. I will pay you, good sir, if you watch this, Nate Boomcraft. He's got 30 bodies, and he's all hit up from when they tried to get him too. And just like, but the way he tells, I'll send you his video too. The way he tells a story is just so it's like, it's that weird fine, like you were saying about Tony or like certain other people where it's like, you don't not feel remorse, but he's like, shit, you know, the how and why, my why was the 20 grand. But you must have did something. I get that concept because it's the same as doing nothing. Somebody's going to do it. Like, especially like in like a Tony Spilotro situation and Nate Boomcraft situation, like I can say no, they're going to bury me along with this other asshole. And then somebody's going to gladly mosey into my spot with a big smile on, like, I'll do it, you know, like, and anyone, you know, like, it's the same even in corporate America. Anytime somebody's all like, I'm like, that's not my job, I'm too good. It's like, bro, somebody will come along who will do your job and not mind doing the thing that's not their job. But, you know, like I can't imagine trying to pull that line in organized crime. Like, that's not my job. Or calling in sick. Like, hey, we got to go put in some work. Like, I don't know, I'm just not feeling good. Like,
don't worry, don't come. Right? Don't worry, we'll take care of it.
Seriously. How many times has Paulie been sick this month? I don't know, 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 times, get him down here. Like, oh man. That's the best hit in the Godfather movies by far for me. The Paulie Gatto hit, where they pull the car off in the cornfield and just like, you know, leave the gun.
Take the cannoli.
Yeah, that was ad lib. Wasn't in the script. He just said that.
Yeah, Clemenza.
Yeah.
They had a car waiting for him there.
Yep. The guy who played Clemenza was a real Colombo family soldier's nephew.
He was a good actor.
Yeah. And then Luca Brasi was a real Colombo enforcer. That's why his lines were so choppy. Because he was kind of like starstruck me and Marlon Brando. So that's why they just went with. That's why Marlon Brando almost looks confused too. That was one of Joe Colombo's knockaround guys. That he went in there because Joe Colombo single-handedly went in and made
He was
Mario
a big
Puzo.
son of a gun, man. He was 45 material. You don't shoot him with anything but a shotgun or a 45.
I can't listen to the "Have Yourself a Merry" without thinking of Luca Brasi loading up his 40 for his 4.4, putting a vest on and going to get strangled. Like, oh man, they knew they had to get that guy out of the movie quick. He's like, "Can I have part?"
You know,
Like,
all through that scene, I was saying when he says, "So what do you think?" And he pulls out a cigarette and lights it, and I'm thinking, "You dummy! You should have given an answer."
That's how real it is. That's why Kevin Gates made a rap song called Luca Brasi. It's because I ain't shaking that hand. I'll say whatever, but it's just it's like the concept of how much weight you got. Like, we got 4 keys. All right, I'll take it all. Bring it. And then when you rob them, they're like, "What?" And you're like, "I never said I was bringing cash. I said bring it. I'll take it." What, you stupid? You got to read between the lines, man. But it does get you killed and shit like that. But that is something I can admire, is people just standing on their own, like just doing their thing, like no, I won't budge. Like, what was it?
I've got an odd story to tell you.
Yeah, go for it.
Frankie told it to me on tape. He said, "You know, I was down in Hollywood, Florida, because that was his home down there. Although he had homes all over the place.
Everywhere, yeah.
But that was his getaway, right on the beach. He had a beach house, a nice house. Looked like hell from the outside, but inside it was a mansion.
Yeah, property tax.
So anyway, he used to get tips. And they say Colombians are coming in. They got cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to make the buy on the beach.
Yep.
Right? He'd go out to the beach. He'd bring Wayne Bach with him. They go out. Wayne Bach used to be a center for the St. Louis Cardinals. Big guy, huge guy, like a Luca Brasi, right?
Yeah, Luca.
Yeah. So they go out there. They kill the 2 guys all the time. They did this times.
You have to. You have to.
They take the cocaine, put it in FedEx envelopes, and send it to Chicago, so it goes through the dogs don't sniff it because it's overnight delivery fast.
Yep.
And then he keep the money.
Yep. That was the thing about the drugs in the mob. And that's why I say, like, whenever someone's like, they didn't do such and such in the mob, or they did, I'm like, they did everything in the mob. They raped women, they killed women, they hurt children, they did everything. There's a spectrum of crazy that you'd have to be on regardless to fall into that life. And you might just be like a Michael Francis trying to make a lot of fast money. You want a fast life. You don't like the violence, or turn the other way. Then you got your Henry Hills who just skis ball through everything. I ain't going near any lines, Jimmy. But then you got your "I'll do it" type of, like,
It killed me with Spider.
Yeah. Yep. If you ever get the chance, look up when Spider's sister would call in on the Howard Stern show when Howard Stern would have Henry Hill on, and just ream into him about and they wanted to pull that scene. And thank God for Martin Scorsese standing his ground, because we would like you guys too much still at the end. That scene does exactly what it's supposed to. That's good acting. You don't like Joe Pesci anymore. You were kind of like, damn, with Billy Batts, but you're like, I mean, he was talking that shit down. Go get your shine box, huh, Billy? But this kid, you're like, bro, like, and the best part is Joe Pesci double loaded the blanks, didn't tell nobody, and then didn't wear earplugs so that he could get the real, like, feeling of what it would be. Michael Imperioli actually cuts his hand when he falls. Like, he had to get a bunch of stitches. And Robert De Niro actually was pissed, like, stayed in character and like read his line, but like actually was feared because he didn't have earplugs in on the one ear. He put one in on this side, thinking, well, this is the side that'll be close to the gun, no big deal. But no, it was like firing a fully loaded 45 in that room. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Like, it is crazy that he's like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, are you some sick maniac or something? Like,
yeah. I thought
no, Tommy DeSimeone is probably one of the most homicidal people I've ever researched from the mob. He would, like, I mean, think about, like, he's dead at what, 29, 30?
That's another one. His last words were, "Oh no." He walks up on the steps on the what, Visqueen?
Yeah, and
Visqueen, and he gets popped in the back of the head, and he said, "Oh no."
Yeah, they tortured him. Nino Gacci, John Gotti, and what's his name? Oh man, he's one of my favorite cats. Tommy Argo. Yeah, Tommy A is cool. Those are some of the meanest wiretaps I've ever heard. There's a guy, Joe the dog's. I I can't remember the last name, like Ianucci or something like that. And like he was a soldier for Tommy Argro and was fucking up, and Tommy goes to attempt to have him killed. Like they try to kill him in the back of a restaurant. The wife comes in, scatters the whole thing. So he decides to work with the feds. They got Argro on wiretap. He's like, I'm gonna tell you something, my friend. When I did get to you, I had already missed you twice. Like he's like just screaming at him, like, you want to run around and backdoor for me and steal from me and lie to me? I'm gonna leave you all by yourself. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like that's a different level of like. And Danny, big shout out to Danny again. Actually didn't have dealings with Argro, but grew up knowing, like he was known, that he's like, all he's ever told me about him is like scary guy, and like you can definitely see it looking at him. Same with Nino Gacci. That was another real. Didn't seem to mind hurting people type of, like he's who coached Roy DeMeo. So that tells you anything. And then Gotti he was more in it for the clout, I'd say. Gotti didn't relish in the violence, except for he did have a hot head. So like for those, same as Palatra. See, I would put Gotti and Palatra in the same kind of like, not smarts category. I think Tony was smarter than Gotti, kind of. And it's not fucking, maybe not with women, but, but as far as like making the climb up, like, you know what I mean? Like the bosses never trusted Gotti as much as they trusted Palatra. Like they'd have never been like, oh, here you go, John. Go be our guy in Atlantic City where no one can see you.
Well, Phil was a great powerhouse.
That's true.
And he broke him in. So he broke him in right.
Chicago definitely did right. I'm just never interested in our guys because like I mean, you guys got the little bit of a, like, hey, Chicago, haberdashery, stuff like that. But like we talk like we're from the Midwest. Our accents suck, man. You ever heard of Cleveland mobster talk? They're like, yeah, Kansas City, who cares? Like, because like honestly, the most successful mob family is, ironically enough, is Montreal.
Yes, and they still are today.
Yeah, they're doing big things. There's a war going on up there. I didn't know. I had Scott on a while back. He told me it's getting real bloody up there. Like, I'm like, yeah, man, it's such a weird city to think of like, oh, they probably wouldn't get down. Like, no, they get down. Like,
you mentioned Sam DiStefano a couple times. He talks about him.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of the most outrageous thing he ever did. But
holding a gun to somebody's head while they raped his wife.
No,
to me,
that was bad. There was this
to me, that's the worst possible thing. If it had been some random woman, maybe. Your wife? Come on, man. That's crazy.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know whether you got them in your area that you live or Detroit, but they had these old radiators, and they
like the round ones.
Yeah,
like the ones that are.
They got bars that come down.
Yeah.
And they were made out of cast iron.
Yeah.
And the steam used to come up through them, or water, hot water, whatever, and they would get red hot. I mean, red hot.
Yeah, no, they get, yeah.
So anyway, Sam, one of the guys, he borrowed 25 grand from Sam, and he blew town and went to Wisconsin. Sam got him and brought him back. He tortured him for like 2 weeks. And then he said, I'm going to do you a favor. And so he put him on this radiator naked. First of all, Sam liked to torture people in bed.
Yeah, he loved it.
So the guy didn't have any clothes on, right? He sits him on the radiator. He's got blisters and everything from this radiator, right?
Yeah.
But it's his brother's. He had a catering service.
Yeah.
And they threw a big party for the family, his personal family. They all came to the party, right? Or the get together.
Yeah.
On the house, right? Everything was on the house. So they had a big catering thing. And then when it was all over, Sam drags this guy out and he's got a noose around his neck. Guy ain't got no clothes on. Throws him down to the crowd and says, you pay his bills. He owes me 50 grand. You pay his bills. You know what happened? They made every one of the males there urinate on him. Every one of his family. They made it do it. And you know what he did? He thanked Sam. He thanked him for not killing him.
That's how grateful some people are to be alive, man. Like, yeah, I mean, it really is one of those that, like,
give me the shot to the head. I wouldn't have gone through that.
no, you're stupid for leaving me alive, Sam. I'm gonna let you know I'm gonna heal up and I'm gonna kill everything you love, everything that moves, everything that's where I start cutting morals out of myself to where it's all like, you wouldn't hurt a child, would you?
I couldn't have
They
killed.
said to stop,
I
though?
couldn't have killed Anita
I'd have
or Dee Dee.
shot her
and
right in the
Diane.
face. If he'd have burned me on a radiator, tortured, and then had my family here, I would shoot his wife without blinking. Without blinking, Red. Make him what? I would make him shoot her because I'd be like, you have one bullet in that gun. You're not going to hit me. There's a gun to your head. And I know you're not going to kill yourself because you're too crazy and have too much love for yourself. Either shoot her. And the funny thing is, you probably wouldn't even have to say anything further. You just, bow. He'd be like, so do I get to live now? I'd be like, no, Sam, you piece of shit. Take the gun. Like, yeah, no. Sam DeStefano was one of those people that's like, man, if I ever like could have got stuck with him and caught him slipping, because I mean, I'd have been young and he'd have been old, like at least in my mind for some reason. Yeah, I like catch Sam slipping as an old man, like sucker punch him, just like drag him off. Because yeah, he was a real
easy. When I met him, he was a tough guy.
Yeah, he was
there.
for him. Yeah. It was just the mentality of, I guess, like you do have to sleep, and then Sam's outside your window with a Mossberg and shit. And like, yeah, I guess that's why, you know. Because like I asked you in the last time we tried this previously on Lost Cause Productions, but no, I did wonder if it was like, because you said you didn't like being in his basement, you didn't like being around Sam, you know. There's a lot of gangsters out there that are like that, which is where I say like that. I don't put Tony in the psychotic category or the psychopathic categories because people did like to be around him, even though psychopaths can be charming. Like they usually are very reserved, or like if they are very flamboyant, they're, I don't know. It's more like a Carmine Persico kind of like represent myself at trial. I like, you know what I mean, like that type of, or Vito Genovese is a textbook. You know what I mean? Albert Anastasia, that's a great example. Like, yeah, like there's been a handful of them.
Tony was a peacock. He used to.
Yeah. Tony was, I mean, the Napoleon complex that ran real with him, I'm sure. You said he wore platform shoes. You eventually have to swallow your pride for something. You're like, look, I'm just not going to. They
didn't call them platform shoes. They were only on the heels. There were lifts. They were like 2.5 inch lifts on his heels. And you could see him because the pants leg, you know, covered, the brake was on the front of the foot.
Yeah.
And the back, you could see him as he walked. And everybody called him the little guy.
Oh, yeah. The ant? Did anybody call that? Because that's what he's been dubbed now. Did anybody call him that? Like, even behind his back, I know nobody would have.
Nobody called him the ant. That was a newspaper thing that Bill Romer put on him. But a lot of people called him the little guy. If he was going out the door or something at American Bonding, and he had a phone call or something, they say, catch the little guy. Go get the little guy before he leaves.
So when did you meet Tony? How did you meet Tony, really?
I met him at American Bonding. I met him with a group of people. There was Phil Aldericio there. There was Irv Weiner there. There was Kurt Hansen there. Who else was there? Joey Lombardo.
Wow.
The whole crew was there. They used to hang out there until they built the spot over by Jimmy Kozo's.
Yeah, I always wondered where, because that like I get the Chicago layout.
It was right across from the street. It was American Bonding. It was right across the street from the police station. So if you were a thief like Kalana, okay, and you got arrested.
Don't speak on the dead like that. Rest in peace, Frank.
Okay, but if you got arrested and you didn't have the money to bail yourself out, they just bonded you out and put you on juice.
Yeah, great. Everybody's on juice here. What do you? That's awesome. That it is funny because like social clubs do seem like a New York thing for the most part. Like that vast amount of them and how flaunted they are. I know Chicago had some, Detroit had some, but like New York stayed having. Right? It's like everybody in their brother's crew had to have like every crew from New York, from every family, pretty much had a social club. Whereas Chicago, it's the outfit. So it's Detroit, it's a combination.
Oh, they had their social clubs, but they used to play cards in the social clubs. They used to congregate at specific spots.
That's what I mean, one or two social clubs. Like New York probably had like at one point like 35, 36.
No, I know more than that. I mean, I
was just spitballing, you know, like I could name a bunch, you know, like
I would say in Cicero alone, there were probably 8 or 10. And for the rest of the city, there must have been 50, 60. But they used to play cards in there. They're card games. And that's where the crew would go.
Yeah.
I
guess the crews were a little smaller in like Detroit and Chicago too. So you don't have 40 guys trying to pile into a room this size.
No,
You know?
there was maybe 10, 15 guys in there at the most.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
always-
Anything over 7's a gang.
They always
so-
had a bar in there too.
Yeah, there always is. Same with the bike clubhouse. Same with the. That's the funny thing too. Is like, it seems like every facet of life, even like everybody needs a drink in that type of life. Everybody like at least sips, does something like it is weird to find like drug addicts in that life, but like Tony Roach, he was a heroin addict. He was from the Gambino. He only reason he could never be made was because he was a heroin addict. You know, like it is weird that like there's still just like regular people in every walk of life. Like, you know, there's been a gay mobster or two. You know there has, even though that's a no-no. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. We're gangsters. We're criminals. So yeah, I'm gonna really listen to you. Like, I'm gonna live however I want to live. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it is a funny concept to me that, like, I don't know, just how you organized crime. Like, not you in particular, but to organize crime is just like, that's a really ingenious idea. You know what I mean? Like, it would take a lot of like, hey guys, hey, relax.
Well,
How
yeah,
about we?
it was like that's one of the reasons I didn't like The Sopranos, because Tony Soprano, there was no way that one of the bosses in Chicago would have ever had a psychiatrist.
Frank Costello had a psychiatrist.
Pardon?
Frank Costello had a psychiatrist. Frank Nitti probably had a psychiatrist too. He had claustrophobia. He had more phobias than any mobster I've ever read about. Like, I guess it was the 50s.
They never got taken care of because he never went.
No, yeah, it was the 50s. He probably didn't go. You're right, but no, Frank Costello's seen a therapist. That's noted. That's I know that for that being the Mount Bible. It's really not that heavy, but like I like to make that noise when I move that big dumb book. I need a copy of Nobody Cares and what I did about it though.
You got to send me your address and I'll shoot you one out, guy.
Most definitely. Let's sum up again where they can get it and where they can store it, and give one more little plug, and then we'll get out of here. We're on 2 hours.
Where they can get it?
Yep.
You can get an autographed copy at redwemette.com. REDWEMETTE.com. That's an autographed copy. For the same price as an autographed copy, you can get it on Kindle,
Amazon, but go to Barnes and Noble.
It's cheaper on Kindle, but you can get it at Amazon. You can get it Barnes and Noble. You can get it at just about any place. It's 28 books a million. It's 28,000 stores.
Yeah, no, and I was blessed enough for Red to have shipped me a little sample when I went to Colorado, so I could have something to read on the plane. And from somebody who spends a lot of time reading into things like this, it's definitely one. I like it because it's done in the perspective of being from you. So it's not somebody writing on anything. That's always cool to me. But then it's also, like I said, you go into a lot more like feelings, like how you felt towards a guy, like, this guy never like sat right with me, or this guy never, you know what I mean? As opposed to where it just seems like some people just try to hurry through their books for the payday. It's like you might as well just try to make a TV series or something, man. Books don't pay that well.
I dedicated that book to the victims of organized crime.
Yeah, I know you did. That was really good of you. That was another thing I liked about another great book I'll plug here is A Mother's Reckoning by Sue Klebold, Dylan Klebold's mom from the Columbine shooter. He was a Columbine shooter, and she donated all the proceeds to her book to mental health funding. Just because, like, yeah, she feels like she dropped the ball. She knows, you know what I mean? Like, she gets it. Trust me. That woman.
Must have been terrible guilt on her part.
Woman's hurt. That woman's hurt. Like, I do feel bad for her. Like, I can't imagine. Imagine your kid being the epitome of hate, like forever and always. Your kid's name is synonymous with high school tragedy. Like, that's rough, man. You know what I mean? That's real rough. Like, she felt like she had to apologize for even loving her son. I'm like, oh man, you don't gotta say that. Like, I wasn't even talking to her. I was talking to the video. I was like, oh, you don't gotta say that, lady. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I get the whole, but, and she has the simplest request for to come and do interviews and stuff. It's like, just don't show the still shot of them where he's walking down the stairs and she's like, just don't do that. Like, just don't. It spawns more. It's statistically proven that if they stop showing the faces of the mass shooters, they would not double. The second that the face hits the news media and, Eric Harrison, Dylan Klebold, blah, 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 Su Chao Ying, fucking Adam Lanza, it just spawns more. Like, because people who are at the end of their rope realize I can get my 15 minutes. Like, it's crazy. It really is crazy.
Somebody told me the same thing you did. We had a debate over it. And I was kind of agreeing on your part, but they showed people that were arrested for rape and child molestation or human trafficking.
Yeah. Yep.
And I said, why did they have to show the faces of these people?
Yep.
I mean, all it did was motivated other people that were sick
Yep.
to do something stupid.
Yep. Exactly. That's like, why Eric Harris was so influenced? Timothy McVeigh. Because of look what Timothy McVeigh was given. You know what I mean? Like, look at the clout that they gave him. Like, you get your 60 minutes, you get your because it does seem like in this country, and I'm not, this is literally what I want to go do too. So I am not complaining about it. I'm not going to click on the Mother Teresa documentary. I want to know what the hell is going on with Jeffrey Dahmer. Just do. And apparently I'm not alone. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, this is not, it's not like, oh, this is just me thing. Maybe how much I delve into it. That's like a special reserve. People are like, oh man, you got,
He has got to be one of the sickest puppies that I ever even thought about.
See, I don't feel the same way about him. And I don't feel like he's actually a psychopath. I feel like it's a really weird time to be a homosexual man. You're really fascinated with biology, and he had to get himself high and drunk to do all the shit he did.
Yeah, but he ate the hearts and everything from his victim.
Weird. Yeah, he's weird. He's weird. He feels weird. I mean, you know how they made gay people feel in the 70s. Like, you feel like you're not right. And then, like I said, he did always want to be like a biologist. He loved how things worked. His family up and leaves him, and he just starts getting drunk and high all the time. You shouldn't have to get yourself drunk and high to commit your acts if you're a true to blue psycho. To me, Richard Ramirez had to get high too. John Wayne Gacy didn't. Ted Bundy did not. You know what I mean? Ed Gein did not. The BTK killer, Dennis Rader, did not. You know what I mean? Those people led normal, sober, church-leading lives. Richard Ramirez and Jeffrey Dahmer, those are kind of like crash and burn. You know what I mean? Like, especially Richard Ramirez. But like,
Dahmer, I just didn't understand. I mean, I really didn't. I looked at him and said, first of all, he ate organs from his victims. Second of all, he was into negrophilia.
Uh-huh.
And I just thought about all that and said, this guy can't be right.
All that makes more sense to me than Gacy or Bundy. Like how Bundy you could have a girlfriend, you could get like these beautiful women would be. You know, when they asked Bundy why he took pictures of all his victims, he says, because when you do a job properly, you want to remember it.
They were some beautiful women with Ted Bundy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Thanks, Ted. Now every time I hold the door open, I look like a date rapist. So like, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, just being nice. I promise. Like, yeah, I know there's too many Ted Bundys in the world. My bad. Like, my bad for my gender, man. Sorry. Like, well, because the thing about Ted Bundy is like, and then he escapes, and then you know what I mean? And then like
4 times he escaped.
Yeah, and then women love him. Like, love him.
He used to get love letters.
Yeah. You know, it's Sue Klebold says that she gets letters all the time about girls who want to have Dylan's baby, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, where were you girls when these two were in high school and died virgins after killing 13 people? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, but everybody wants that like dark mysteriousness till it's there. Everyone's like, oh, having an encounter with Richard Ramirez would be cool until you were fast asleep, and then you're woken up to get stabbed by like this crazed dude, like with sharp pointy teeth, and like, you know, like everything's cool until he's like, you want to see a trick, kid? And you're like, sure, mister. And he puts the handcuffs on you. He's like, the trick is you gotta have the key. And you're like, oh my god, like this is how I'm gonna die. Like, yeah, no, serial. I do feel though that we should stop executing serial killers because we still just don't get it. We think like. Psychologists are pretty good. They're getting it, but like, there's got to be a way to find the tick. They found it with almost everything else. There's no way that just like, I mean, I guess it also depends if you take the serial killer as when you've killed 3
or more. Genetic. I wonder if they were genetic.
Some of them, that's what, you know what I mean? Like, that's where, yeah, you do got to wonder. You ever seen a picture of baby John Wayne Gacy? As a kid, I'll look it up. Because I could have told you if I'd have been alive at that time that you need to, it's gonna sound rough, this is not gonna get me laughing, smother that child. I'm telling you, he's not gonna grow up with anything. The eyes, man, he's just still got his crazy, like in his mugshot, but in a baby. And he's, oh man, I can't wait. I'm literally excited to show you this.
They said his father used to beat him terrible with a strap.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Not gonna grow up to be anything good.
No.
You can see it in his eyes.
Take a wet sponge, put it over his face.
For real, right? For real. It's the same with like, yeah, people are crazy, man. And I plan on seeing as many of them as I possibly can before I die. So that's hence the cross country chaos tour. Plus, I want to see all the continent of the United States anyway, you know? I mean, besides Ohio, I need to try to find a way to skip around them. Ohio, you've been called out. Respond back. Oh, well, shit, Red.
I like those pictures you had in the airplane of on your way to Colorado.
Denver? Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Above the clouds.
Yep. Yeah, no, it was definitely a good time. It was a good experience. I was glad to crank that one off. Actually getting to go to Columbine High School really did it's come full circle for me because I was like, all right, it's still just a high school. You know what I mean? Sometimes you build places up in your head, like I know it's going to be that way when I go to Spark Steakhouse. I've got this whole thing, but it's just going to be a steakhouse in Manhattan where some shit happened to happen. You know what I mean? Like places I like, because like I felt that way when I drove by the house where it's flat because I was like, oh, it's going to be nuts. Where Hopla disappeared. Like, and then you get there and you're like, oh, really? It's just still a neighborhood. It's just still a, you know, like it doesn't like, it's weird how ordinary places feel still. Like I pulled into Columbine High School and I was like, oh man, you guys, it seems way bigger from like the helicopter view and the you know.
Well, not only that, they built a monument there.
Out back about a mile and a half back. Their security is way too lax though. Because I went there, I went up the stairs, you know, I was looking around doing whatever. I thought COVID, the kids would be out of school. I was wrong. I walked back to see the memorial and I get back and there's a security guard there and she's like, what are you doing here? Blah, blah. Actually, she didn't say that. She knew what we were doing there. It's obvious. But like, I already know why it took them so long. It's because the front of the school, like where do you see all the footage and all that stuff? That's the west entrance of the school. The front of the school is like more towards the front. Like if that's where the security's sitting, that needs to change, Littleton. Didn't you learn that in 99? Like, I mean, that's where anybody's going to go who's going because they're fascinated with it is where the big glass wall is. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going to be like, oh, let me pull into the front of the school and get past the checkpoint. Like, yeah, you know, like, and stop sign saying turn back now. I didn't even see him, to be honest. I seen him on pulling out. I was like, oh yeah, they really are there. So she was pretty cool about that. But big shout out to my buddy Colorado Sam too. I appreciate all the people you're trying to put me in contact with. He knows he's from Littleton. So he knows survivors, stuff like that. And I know that's a real touchy one. I have easier time talking to gangsters and being like, so how would it feel to whack somebody like than I do being like, yeah, so what does it like to just try to go to high school one day and two kids decided that wasn't going to happen. Like, yeah, but I don't know. It's coming up on 25 years and I don't feel like we've learned anything. So it's something I've been super passionate about, writing about. I don't know. It just,
one of those ones like the month. What about Parkland in Florida?
Yeah. Yeah, that was nuts too. That was one of the first. That's crazy because that one's on live on kids' Snapchats, which is like a video, little thing back and forth that you send messages and it disappears. And nowadays, like you can send your story and people are literally on their stories like the school's getting shot up. You know, like it's crazy.
Technology.
Yeah. The guy who did the Pulse nightclub cleanup, he said that was the eeriest thing. Was walking into a slew of dead people whose phones are all just going nuts. Yeah. Felt the same way. Yep. But then there's also a lot of good things out there too. I'll end on a positive beat for everybody. Go get Red's book, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for stopping by. It's a hell of a promo video, but it'll get edited down. It'll be all right. Red, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for doing this. And we'll probably crank another one or two out before I come down, but I will see you first weekend in August.
Okay, guy.
Oh yeah, we're gonna drink some beer, Red. We are gonna drink some beers. Or whatever. Maybe not because it's gonna be super hot. Margaritas, whatever the hell you guys drink down there. I'm not drinking scotch. Like. I'm not drinking scotch with you. It's not actually. I will drink one scotch with you first, Pilatra, but then that's it. I fucking hate scotch.
Nah, don't mix it, guy. Whatever you like.
I'm Irish. I'm good.
If you like margaritas, then tequila's the thing.
I'm a rum and coke guy.
Coke goes great. Cuba Libre.
Yeah. Oh, well, take it easy, Red. Take it easy, everybody else. Thanks for stopping by. This is Lost Cause Productions. I'm Ian, and I gotta go do the stuff the rest of the day. I don't get to sleep today.
Good night, Ian.
Good night, man.